recitation of Holy Quran.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
Jazakallah. Now I would like to call Mr. Zia Mustafa, Conference Moderator, Member KSA Branch Council. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Misira. Thank you very much, all speakers, attendees, panelists, and the coordination team from ICMA Global from head office. We are very excited for today. We have lined up an excellent agenda and excellent, very diversified speakers available with us today. And we will try our level best, inshallah. You all get a very good return on investment for your time that you are investing with us today. So this is our first ever virtual CFO Summit 2026. Strategy first, the new mandate for the modern CFOs, and the whole discussion will revolve around the strategy, how strategy is important for finance and how finance can add value as finance business partner to their CEOs, to their leadership team. That is the core theme of the summit. And MECA CFO and ICMA has been doing many summits so far. With MECA, we have been doing these conferences since 2012. We have done multiple conferences in UAE, two in Saudi, and one in New York as well, physical event, where around like 230, 250 people do attend all the time. We are very excited for today. This is our first virtual CFO Summit, and we have a plan, inshallah, as we go in the future to do this on quarterly basis. This time, KSA chapter is leading this in collaboration with ICMA Global, and next quarter another chapter will come, and this is how we want to continue sharing knowledge across together. All the attendees, speakers, and panelists are very senior professionals. Most of them are finance professionals, and then there are some strategists. We have very senior two strategists with us as well, Paresh and Mihai, and they will add a lot of value to this session. We welcome all of them. Our keynote speaker is Salim Sufi. He is our finance coach, and we, most of them, have been learning finance from Salim Sufi in terms of strategy and leadership, and strategy is one of the key topics for today. We will start our session at 2 o'clock. We'll wind up at 5 o'clock. Lot of engagement. We'll engage the audience from time to time. There will be a lot of Q&A, and Q&A will engage from the audience based on the quality of the input. First 40 minutes. So this is our overall theme of the conference. Noman, please go next. This conference is being led by the KSA chapter, and I'm leading the conference from KSA front. I have with me Muhammad Noman, Muhammad Salim, and Anis. They all are senior finance professionals of more than 2 decades of experience. Muhammad Noman has been in construction sector at very senior finance positions, and he has been finance business partner. Currently, he is leading as a financial controller in a defense organization. He is a fellow FCCA and a continuous learner in terms of strategy and leadership. We have Salim Yunus. Salim is a group finance director in Zainal Group based in Jeddah, and he also has done a CFO program from Mecca and many executive courses from London Business School and multiple leading executive education institutes. Then we have our brother Anis Yunus, a very senior CFO, and he always come ahead and add the value to the finance community. So Salim is also a very seasoned CFO. He has done multiple executive courses from all the leading business schools, and this is the core team who has managed this summit for today. Noman, please next. Our overall, the housekeeping and the criteria and the key guidelines in terms of the conference is We'll start on time, inshallah. We'll finish on time. We'll try to make this session very interactive, two-way communication. After every session, we have kept some time for Q&A. You will send your questions in the chat box. We have team allocated in all sessions. They will take your questions, and our speaker and panelists, they will answer your question. If there will be any unanswered question, that we have a plan to get back to you with the answers. We'll go to the speaker, we'll write their question and answers with the specific name, and we will write different posts on the LinkedIn. Audio protocols, most of the audience is muted, but once we go to the Q&A, based on the quality of the questions, our technical team will unmute you, will bring you to the stage, and then we'll ask question. If we have limited time, then maybe we will take your questions and the speaker will directly answer to save the time. So keep engaged, and we want to make this session very interactive, and we will answer the question based on the quality of the questions. Next, please. So we are starting now at 2 o'clock as per our time. We have started with the recitation of Holy Quran with the translation. Now we are giving you the whole housekeeping and the agenda part. At 2:20, around 2:15, 2:20, we have kept some buffer. You know, the finance people always keep some buffer here and there. So we have kept some buffer in between so that if there is any slippage in terms of time for any session, we can manage that. So this is how we started. Now we are in the session of 2:10. Then we go to Slim Sufi, that is his keynote speaker. As a keynote speaker, Slim will give the strategy for the finance professional as the things are changing and as the world is changing, how the finance profession is changing. So Slim will spend around 10 to 15 minutes. We'll keep 5 minutes for the Q&A, and then we have the second activity as our panel, very seasoned finance professional. Dr. Tamar will lead this session. Ahmed Daud, our brother, is there. He's a very seasoned senior financial professional. Anan is there. Dr. Hala, Paresh, these all are very senior business executives, and Dr. Tamar will do a lot of engagement in this session for all of you. Oh, be ready for good question, and we will entertain, we will engage you through your questions. Next, please. So this is a session of 30-minute discussion, 10 minutes Q&A. Then we'll go to Pakistan chapter. Sayyid Khalid Noor is leading that session. Sayyid Khalid Noor and our excellent speaker Mihai will take us through the strategy management process and the demo of Rapid Strategy AI. It will be a very interesting and very engaging session. Followed by the Q&A, we have kept 10 minutes there as well. This is our second Pakistan chapter, and then we go to our UAE chapter, and then we have Ghulam Sabr there. The UAE chapter has come up with lot of excellent interactive activities, and we will enjoy this session as well. This will be from 4 to 4:45. We have kept around 40 minutes for each chapter, KSA chapter, Pakistan chapter, and UAE chapter. Next, please. And then we will bring Slim Sufi, my co-host. Noman will assist me during this part, and Noman will invite Slim Sufi for the closing remarks. Then we have Rana Intazar from ICMA Global. He is our global linkage committee head. He will come and he will say vote of thanks to all, and we will wrap up the conference on time, inshallah, at 5 p.m. This is the overall flow of the conference. Please be engaged, ask good question. The whole objective here is to learn from each other. I will learn from Ahmed Daud. Ahmed Daud may learn something from me, because all of you are very senior executives, and that's the objective. We all learn from each other. This is the overall theme of the conference. So if there are any questions, please do write your question in the chat box and the team will answer you. So looking into this, we are on time. Noman, please go ahead. So here I invite our career coach, our guru in terms of finance. We all know Slim. Slim has, mashallah, more than 3 decades of practical experience and then academic experience, adding value to the finance community all over the globe. We all have learned heavily from Slim, and he always keep bringing something new in a very proactive way to the finance community. How we keep ourselves updating in terms of the changes that is coming into the future. His few slides on the topic of future of finance without finance is very interesting, and we will keep any question answer, please do write in the chat box, and we will entertain as we go on, but very interactive sessions. So we want to start with something very heavyweight from the beginning. So mic with you and floor is yours, Slim. We all are listening you.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. So I will just want to ensure that you can see me and hear me clearly.
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So welcome to this amazing event. This Riyadh chapter has really put together. Our Riyadh chapter has always surprised me with their capacity and the potential, what they can do on a short notice of time. This is our first virtual conference, so it was a test for us. But I think they have done a wonderful job, and I see that the number of attendees is rolling up fast. And I could tell you that we have already booked over capacity. We have a capacity, and then registration went well above that number. And you can see that now we are seeing that people are joining very quickly. So thank you very much for joining this conference. And I want to thank you also all the talented, very well-known and well-deserved speakers who have agreed to come to this conference and really take their time to speak and share their best thoughts. So in today's time, where the finance function is changing very fast, and many people have questions that what to learn because there is no shortage of information. Well, these type of events where you hear directly from the experts and speakers and the people who really have some new thoughts, this is the best source because here you get the latest thinking or forward thinking, I would say, and learn from them. So this is a good opportunity. So speakers and especially my thanks to ICMA officials and their contribution and their support with which we are able to really hold this conference. As Zia said, that we have done a few programs together and they have always been very, very successful. So thank you very much, officials of ICMA, for your contribution and your support. Today, I want to talk about some, again, forward thinking, that what is ahead for us. So in my humble opinion, finance is going through a transformation, which is something once in a lifetime. We are experiencing once in a lifetime event where finance is going to change. Now, we have always been talking about changing finance or changing role of finance or changing role of CFOs. But I think this time, this change is happening is bigger than any change we had before. So that is how we need to really prepare for this change. Now, this is a little strange nature of change because we see that a lot of change is going to happen or is already happening. And then when you look around in your environment, in your company, around your company, you don't see much happening, especially in this region, Middle East and Asia Pacific or Africa. You don't see much changes happening. And that is because of the our level of comfort with the technology. So it is always a very established pattern or trend that when the technology is introduced, it progresses very fast on the technological side. But when it comes to the adoption, it is always much, much slower. And that is also we are seeing with this technology of AI that it has developing very fast, but the adoption is very, very slow, I would say, or mixed in different regions. But it's now over 3 years that we have been experiencing AI. So I could say that everyone here in this forum, they have some level of experience with that. They have already tasted what is in there. And with that experiment or interaction with the AI technology, I think you have a fair idea what is the potential of this technology. So we'll don't waste any time on the potential of technology. We all know that, but we'll try to focus on strategy, especially for the finance professionals, that as a experienced finance professional, what you need to do, because for many professionals it's very, very overwhelming. And as I said, that there is no shortage of information or knowledge available. So the bigger question for us is that where to start? What is relevant for us and what is not relevant for us? So if you could, someone open my slides, so I would talk with a reference to the item and points I want to talk about. And feel free
Yes,
to
sir.
send your questions in the, I think in the chat box. So someone would capture that, and then as we have some time during the presentation or after the presentation, I will try to address as many questions as possible. So this is about future of finance. And I use the term that future of finance without finance. Now, for many people, it's shocking. How could you talk about finance without finance? But this is really a reality which is going to happen. If it is not happening today, it's not far that we would have this reality, which means that there would be no finance function or no finance department, right? There would be no financial planning or financial forecasting, or there would be no month-end closing or the closing process. And this scenario, you can say that, yeah, it is not happening right now, but it will happen in future. Then future we are talking about is not about 10, 15 years. The future we are talking about 2 to 3 years. So just imagine yourself, just visualize yourself sitting in an environment where you are so-called finance professional, but there is no such things like department function or finance planning or forecasting or closing. What will you be doing? I think that's really the food of thought for all of us to think about it, because that is going to happen. Experts are pretty determined and confident that this is the scenario going to happen. And I'll elaborate more on this. What does it mean by that? So again, as I said, that finance in many places you could still debate and argue. This is my way of really just a little bit in a blunt way to make you aware of the reality which is going to happen. But if we look at some of the trends, and if you could move my slide to the next one, if we look at some of the trends, they are very much evident and you cannot really deny them. So ChatGPT or AI tools were introduced about a little over 3 years ago. So we have enough time to experience with them. And during those 3 years, I think every one of us who has been interacting with these tools started to realize that their progress or development, technological development was very fast, very fast. And initially we heard about AI, then we learned about generative AI, and then we learned about the agentic or AI agents, AI agents, which is very common now. So in 3 years, the technology has grown and developed very rapidly. And with this generative AI to agentic AI, a lot has changed. With the agents, you could basically get the work done like your other employees. So the main difference which was really very dramatic for many people to use it, is that the cognitive power. So initially, computer were basically available three characteristics: speed, accuracy, and memory. Speed, accuracy, and memory. These were the three characteristics computer has already significantly proved their ability. But this cognitive power, which came through AI, was really something very, very different. And as I said, it's not static at a certain point of time. It is growing very fast. So we don't know where will it stop, or it will ever stop or not. So change in the technology is very clear trend. Everybody is noticing. Functional silos. Now, I'm not sure if everybody notices that, but very quietly, slowly, gradually, organizations are losing their financial boundaries. The functional departments or the functional silos are disappearing very fast. Now, of course, it didn't happen like an announcement by the CEO that there are no more departments or these things. These are happening itself. They are evolving slowly. But if you look closely, and if you are there in the environment for more than 10 years, you will see that, yes, a lot has changed, which means that functional boundaries are going away or they are collapsing, and we are working more like a cross-functional organization. So this is very important for finance professionals, because if I could share with you a typical profile of a finance professionals, we have the luxury of really working for a long period of time in our comfort zone. Our comfort zone is that we are finance. That's a privilege for us, right? We are the custodian of numbers. So we have information more important than other people. And we have a lot of control in the organization. We can control, we can enforce compliance, and we have the ability to look across the organization, the whole value chain. Besides the top management, finance is the only function here, the full visibility of the organization. And with that privileges or advantages, we enjoyed our life. We lived in the boundaries of finance department, so-called. And we prefer to live in the back office. That's our favorite place. Back office, I'm busy. I don't have time to really get out. I don't have time to go to the departments. I don't have time to really interact with those people. So I'm confined, a typical finance professional. I'm busy. So in the name of busyness, we try to hide in our departments. So look, these privileges are not going to last anymore. So we need to really prepare to get out of the back office, to come out of the functional boundaries. Because if you go to the marketing department, for example, you need to have some idea about how the marketing works. Not necessarily become a marketing expert, but some idea. So you could really have some interaction with them. So those functional silos is another. From scorekeeping to strategic storytelling. I'm sure everybody has heard a lot about storytelling, and they're wondering that why storytelling in the business environment. But look, things are getting very complex and advanced. And I think the focus on attention or the scarcity of attention is so high that people, especially the senior management or the top management, they don't have time to really go through the numbers and analyze themselves. They need a narrative. Of course, they need the numbers in a summarized way, but along with the numbers, they need a narrative. They need a story, because a story is stuck in our mind. Numbers do not. So for top management who do not have much time, with a limited availability of time and attention, they need stories. And the burden is on us. You cannot take the excuse that, look, I'm a financial expert, so I will give you 20 pages of document comprising all type of analysis. You need to just tell them right there in the boardroom, what is the story? What are we doing? And not really historical, because that has been our comfort zone, historical stories or historical analysis. But going forward, that what was it? What is it now? What's going to happen? And what are we going to do about it? Now, this was always, we said that, look, we are a reporting function. We've already provided the information and our job is done. We are done. We are completed our process. Future, we don't know. That's not our job. And now they are telling us that it is also your job. You need to get involved. Decision intelligence, for example, is a big area of focus and attention in the going forward business models. So it's a big shift. For many finance professionals is a significant turnaround from scorekeeping to strategic storytelling. Now, there are two challenges. Number one, how to extract a story from the numbers. So that's your ability, your insight, your strategic thinking, all those matter there. How do I see a story? And then your ability to communicate. So they are your physical skills to tell a story. That's another challenge. So that is why this one is very, very important for us. Then from the back office to the front office, as I said, that look, if you have been living in the back office, that's your comfort zone. You don't feel comfortable getting outside, but now it's the time. Boundaries are going to be collapsed. So you are exposed, and it's better that you develop or prepare yourself for that scenario. It's not about functional leadership, it's about cross-functional leadership. You will not be measured on your financial expertise or knowledge. You will be measured based on your expertise in the cross-functional. How could you work with the people in outside finance department? How much you know about those functions? How much you could leverage that knowledge to really create value for the business? And finally, from number cruncher to value architect. Now, value architect is really a very, very heavy term for many of us. The value architect, what does it mean? I'm a controller. I know what a controller job is. Value architect is very new for me. Again, besides the term, this is our new role. It's going to happen. Again, you can question that it will take some time to come to your organization, but this is the role. I will explain what is it. So looking at these trends and my role as a head of the CFO Academy, we are doing this for almost 10 years. And we have produced a lot of CFOs and strategic CFOs. So my role especially is to really try to understand future. What is going to happen with this profession and the CFOs and controllers and finance directors, and how could we guide them to prepare for those times? Now, future has always been very challenging. But this time, as I said, it's something very, very new, something very, very big. So we have to especially prepare. So for purpose of this presentation, because it's a short presentation, I tried to find out something which I could really translate in a short time in some meaningful insight for all of you. So right before this session, about an hour ago, I was thinking that how should I really develop my narrative for this presentation, and an idea came in my mind. So I'm working a lot with the AI tools and ChatGPT, and sometimes I have ChatGPT and Microsoft Copilot and the Google AI tool all open on my desktop, laptop, and I'm working with all three of them. So anyway, I asked ChatGPT a simple question. I said, look, for today's typical finance professional, if you look them, mid-career, based on today's scenario, based on today's environment of the technology and the business, if you have to create a SWOT analysis, what would that be? So I'm a big fan of SWOT analysis, and I hope that most of you are very familiar. SWOT analysis is simple. Your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. So I'm going to show you this, this is exactly by ChatGPT, what they provided. So in terms of strengths, and you could, so the idea here is that while I'm going through this SWOT analysis, you just evaluate yourself, put yourself as the main finance professional and see whether it applies to you. And I feel that 90% people will find that very much relevant to them. So this SWOT analysis becomes a pivotal point for you to really develop your own personal strategy for your career. So what are the strengths? Strong technical accounting and finance foundation, no doubt. There are people, most of you are working for 15, 20 years in this environment, in the finance function, in the comfort zone. So there is no doubt about that strength. Solid business exposure across functions. Now, if you are there as a mid-level manager or senior level person, you are interacting with other department as well. So you have a good, fair idea about the overall business process across functions, how the business works, how do they really do their job to make some benefit for the organization. Reliable execution and delivery interpretation. These are not academics. These people, you guys are working in the business environment. So you have actual experience. That's a big difference. So that gives you a credibility that people could trust on you. If you have been a controller for 10, 15 years, you know the job. You could deliver the results. Then financial discipline and risk awareness, of course, finance is much more oriented towards the risk and discipline. So you also have experience. You could understand a business model and you could understand what are the risks involved to that business. And you can relate the two and come out with a practical and fair strategy for the business. Deep understanding of processes and systems. So of course, technologically, we have not been much directly involved. We have been working with the IT department most of the time, but we still have good idea about the ERP systems if you have one. You also have good idea about some other tools you are using. BI and Tableau and all those tools, we have been pretty experienced. So we have a good understanding and knowledge and expertise about the technical tools as well. And on top of it, if you are a chartered accountant or a CPA or ACCA or similar, then you also have a lot of credibility around all of knowledge and experience. So look, if you go through these 5, 6 bullets, you will see you are in good place. And many finance professionals stop there. Okay, I'm good. I'm in a good place. I don't need to worry about the future, right? That's the biggest mistake most people do. So SWOT analysis does not stop on the strengths, it goes forward. So if we look at the weaknesses now, same finance professionals, same environment, same technological development, what are your weaknesses? So again, first thing is over-reliance mindset, over-reliance on technical and accounting skills. Knowing that, look, I have done my chartered accountancy 20 years ago, I'm good. That's the biggest mistake. Or you say that, look, I have been involved in the implementation of SAP, I'm good. That's the biggest mistake. So that is actually, if you are in that place, that's your weakness. That limited strategic thinking capability. This is a big one. This is a big one. Because for most of us, we never received any training in strategic thinking. And strategic thinking is such a fluid idea. How you define it, how do you measure it, that everybody thinks, or most of the people think, that they are good in strategic thinking. That is what people feel, because there is no structured objective measurement. And again, by the numbers or averages of or the statistics available tells us that not many people have that ability or capability. Next item, low visibility in key decision-making forums. Are you invited to the strategy table? Are you invited to the board meetings? Are you invited to other important forums where these things are discussed? That itself would tell you that how much you are involved or how much your strategic thinking is there. So that also not the fault of the organization, but many people, because of their own initiatives, they do not create a good visibility for them, which means that even if they are talented, even if they have good ideas, the decision makers don't know about that because there is no visibility. They don't know them. That becomes a weakness. Weak communication and storytelling. That's again a common weakness for all of us. Common across. If I have to compare different functions, I would say the finance or accounting is really the weakest in executive communication and storytelling. So you need to learn a lot, you need to improve a lot. Then siloed finance mindset. As I said, that is a mindset. You need to start with the mindset and your thinking, and then you will see opportunities to really get out of your functional silos or boundaries. Slow adoption of AI and digital. Again, this is a big one. I see that many people claim now everybody has used some sort of interaction with the AI tools, but how much in depth you have gone, that's significantly different. Some people are still using it for writing emails or just making summaries. That's very, very basic. That was 3 years ago. Today, people are using for advanced math calculations. This last week, I completed my tax return with IRS. So IRS, which is the tax department for the United States, IRS has a tax system, even just for the personal tax, not corporate tax. If you put together our document, there are 80,000 pages. 80,000 pages to explain the personal tax system in USA. So 95% people don't do their return themselves. They take help from CPAs or experts, including myself. I use TurboTax, which is an offline. But this time I said, let me test the ChatGPT. So I already completed my tax return entirely with TurboTax, which is the software. And I said, let me test. So I put everything in ChatGPT. I said, look, could you make my complete my tax return? And it asked few questions, and in 5 minutes, it came out almost exactly the same numbers, almost exactly. In fact, it is more value than uh, the TurboTax, more value than the TurboTax, because it's also told me that what were the opportunities I did not use to save some money or really have some more deduction of credit. So I mean, that was just one experience which really blown my mind away. So AI adoption is now weaknesses and strengths are your personal. So you could really look at yourself and say that, okay, these are my plus minuses. But what about the environment? Your strength and weaknesses are relative to the environment. What you think as strength, do the other people also see as an strength? That's very important. So that comes into opportunities. What are the opportunities available to you? Again, look at this list. There is growing global shortage of strategic CFO talent. CFO position is so important that organizations always struggle to find the right people. So if you are in that line or in that number of candidates who could be the potential candidates for CFO, then you are in good position. AI and automation freeing time for high level. Again, this is applicable to everyone that look, technology is taking over, which is relieving us from our tedious routine tasks. So we have more time to spend on the more qualitative and higher value decisions or things. Increasing importance of decision intelligence. So people are talking a lot about decision intelligence, and finance is a very, very prime and important role to play in that decision intelligence. Cross-functional leadership, again, as I said, now boundaries are collapsing. So there is no much option left, by the way. That whether you say that, look, I would spend more time within my department and function, or I would go more cross-functional. You have to go cross-functional. You have to go outside the finance department and function. Then rising demand for value creation. So everybody's talking about value creation. What is value creation? If you ask three CFOs this question, that what is the value or what value creation, you will get different answers. That is where we are. So we really need to develop good knowledge about that, to be at the forefront, to be a good candidate, to get involved with these processes. Then access to global learning platforms and executive education. Now, there are some good sources available. There are not good some sources available. And you really need to hunt for it. I wouldn't suggest that go anywhere which comes your way, but try to hunt for the right sources, because there is no shortage of knowledge and information. Your time is more precious. You need to see from your timing point of view, that where do you want to spend the time. And I always give the examples of the one concept, opportunity cost. Who could learn, who could know more better than about opportunity cost better than accountants. We learned this basic concept very early in our career development. So see from an opportunity cost point of view, that where you need to spend time, where you do not need to spend the time. My final points are related to threats. So threats, again, between you versus the environment, versus the external technological or business environment. So from that point of view, automation of core financial tasks. So while it is an opportunity, automation is an opportunity for you to use your time for more valuable tasks and things. It is also a threat. If you don't do anything, you say, okay, I'm having a good time now. All of those routine tasks have been taken over. So I have more relaxed environment. That's a threat, because if you don't create more valuable work for you, you will have to face a lot of risks and threats. AI replacing mid-level analytical roles. So again, this is happening very fast. Every day we see new tools, new developments, new ideas, new solutions coming out of it. And AI tools are able to do more and more every day. Career stagnation in mid-management roles. This is a big one for many, many people. Because if I could generalize this one thing in a trend, what I showed you under the category of strengths, many people understand their strengths, but that they got stuck over there. They got stuck over there, and that's what they don't see, that what are the risks coming up. They remain involved or over occupied with their strengths, and that becomes a weakness. That becomes a threat. So while automation is opportunity, if you don't do anything for that opportunity, it becomes a threat. External hiring for strategic leadership position. Now, this is a not new trend, but increasing powerful trend, that companies are claiming or complaining that they are not able to find the right talent in the marketplace. Right talent means that it's all about strategy, it's all about digital, it's all about decision making and all those things. And they are not finding a good combination of talent in these areas. So again, that's an opportunity, but if you don't do anything, that becomes a threat. And many people I know that they are in the hunt of finding a good job, and they are really not making progress. But I could see the market is dividing into two segments. One is the red ocean, which I call red ocean of the job market, where everybody is trying to find a place. And then you have a blue ocean, which is a small, peaceful area. Not everyone is there. Not all candidates are there. Not all recruiters are there, but they are in that smaller segment, which is much more neat and clean. They are exchanging opportunities. Okay, declining relevance in boardroom discussion. So boardroom is also their demand are changing. So you need to see that where the world is moving towards, what are the business challenges, and what tone, what dialogue, what context you need to talk in the boardroom about those things. And commoditization of the professional credentials, like, look, ACCA, CA, CPA, they were all important, still important, of course, losing relevance to some extent. But if everybody has that, then what's the big deal? It's become a commodity. So you need to see what is the unique differentiation for you. So can you, next slide, please. So what does it mean for us? Again, my focus is that Look, we understand the environment, we understand the challenge, we understand the risks. As a finance professional, what do I need to do individually? What can I do? Not really even waiting for my employer or my CFO or my boss, but what can I do which is in my own hands? So here is my conclusion. So future of finance is about thinking, or I would say that there is a lot of confusion and talk about that. What should you learn? Someone say, oh, jump on the AI tools, jump on those AI bots or those agents. I need to understand that. And that is a good advice for sometimes, but soon you will see it's losing relevance. And what I have reached to this sort of conclusion that look, in this environment, which is overly getting more and more complex, you need to be very clear about your mindset because your mindset is a filter which will change everything. The way you see the world sees you is based on your mindset. So mindset is an outcome of your thinking. So before you try to learn any tools or skills, just ensure that you have the right level of thinking at this point. So that's one thing. And the right level of thinking would create a right set of mindset, and right set of mindset would help you make the right decision. So master strategic and system thinking. I'll go in the next slide. So all this, yeah. So in this slide, I explained that do we mean by thinking, and you could basically see yourself and measure yourself. So there are 5 levels, starting from the bottom. And I will also try to relate with the data and information and then the quality of the information we are talking about. And on the left side, you see this is the human potential. Even if you are at the level 2 analytical thinking, where most finance professionals are, you have the potential to go to the 5. And keep in mind, you are in a highly competitive environment. So while you are making progress, another competitors, who is the AI on the right side, you see, they are also in the same race. They are also trying to climb up. So where you interact with them, at what point they exceed your potential or you exceed their potential, right? So you could understand that very well. Now, good news is that human brain or human potential is such thing, you never know where you are in terms of the extreme level or the full occupation. Probably you would never reach to a level where you say, I have fully utilized my thinking potential. It's always there as a person or potential, right? That's a good news. That's a good opportunity. Keep learning, keep developing. But now you have a little pressure because you probably cannot beat computers in speed, accuracy, and memory. Probably you cannot beat in certain areas about with the AI technology, but you could find new ways of working. Machine and humans are working together now, so you could always capitalize on the areas where you have the advantage. Your intuition, your quality of thinking, your emotional understanding of the emotional power or emotional signals, from your ability to work in a team environment, your ability to negotiate. All these things are human qualities which are in the safe boundaries nowadays. Capitalize on them, jump on them, try to develop, become an expert in those things. But majority is even not aware of that. It's so I would say that it's difficult to quantify these things, that everybody thinks that I'm in a safe zone. I have system thinking. I can do that. That's the biggest challenge you would have. So try to measure yourself objectively. And this slide I'm showing you, this is really the key. This is your blueprint going forward for your talent enhancement. With that thought, I would leave you here. And any questions, I could address that right now.
Slim Sab, thank you very much. I think you have explained it very well. We need to see where we stand, and as you said, objectively, we need to measure ourselves objectively how to go next. We have some questions. We'll get back to you with the questions more as we go on. But thank you very much for your time. Now I invite my next speaker, Dr. Tamar. Dr. Tamar Al Sayed, he is a senior finance executive. He has more than 20 years of experience. He's doctorate, CPA, CGMA. He has been among the top 200 business leaders and power leaders in the finance circle. I know Tamar personally for last more than 15 years. When Dr. Tamar is any conference, or any as a part of speaker or a moderator, people love to go to that conference. With that, I welcome my brother Dr. Tamar, and he will lead one panel discussion with very senior panelists. We have 30 minutes for discussion, and we'll keep around 5 minutes for Q&A to manage our time part. Dr. Tamar, mic is with you.
Thank you, my dear brother Zia. Appreciate it. And good afternoon, everyone. Let me start by thanking the organizers, the MICAS Institute of CFO Leadership and ICMA International, for putting such an event, a webinar, with such esteemed colleagues like this, bringing this caliber of finance leader into one room, even virtually, it's not easy. And ask me about it. So today's theme is strategy first, the new mandate for modern CFOs. Sounds simple, but trust me, it's not. It's heavy. Because CFOs today, and most of you are CFOs, are expected to understand the numbers, shape the strategy, and manage the risk, and still deliver the quarter. So yes, no pressure. Let's start by introducing our panel. And I'll try to keep it short because their work speaks for itself. Going with the ladies first, we have Dr. Hala Faisal, a professor at Naif Arab University in Riyadh, teaches master's courses in economics, economic crimes. She's also a Middle East director and a board member of the International Society of Economic Criminology. Additionally, she is a certified trainer teaching various courses in finance, economics, and management for government institutions and private banks. So in short, she brings a completely different lens on risk and governance. Going next to Anan Sijani. Anan is a tax partner and head of tax, Western region at KPMG Saudi Arabia. She specializes in tax and zakat advisory, working with finance leaders to align tax with business strategy. So basically, Anan sees what most CFOs miss. She sees what most CFOs miss. And my third panelist, Ahmed Daoud, he's a close friend of mine. Our relationship go way back. Ahmed is like a finance veteran. He has more than 26 years of experience. He has been leading the ongoing financial, commercial, auditing, and business combinations for some enterprises across the Middle East in the CPG, pharmaceutical, and oil field industries. He also a qualified trainer in the finance, strategic management, and quantitative analysis field. As a CFO of Danone joint venture in the Gulf, Levant, and Iraq, Ahmed is a critical member of the leadership team because he plays a key role in driving financial success and strategic direction of the company. So Ahmed is the guy who lives in execution, not theory. And last but not the least, I have Mr. Paresh Marat. He's the founder and CEO of Enostratalist. I'm so sorry, Mr. Paresh. Enostratalist. And he's a fractional chief strategy officer with 25 years of experience across aviation and management consulting. He advises boards and leadership teams on one central question: what does AI mean for your competitive position in the next 36 months? So Parish is thinking 36 months ahead of us, while most of us are stuck in quarter end. Great to have you all. And let's keep this, please, let's keep it real. No textbook answers, no safe answers. Because if something for me feels slightly uncomfortable and for the audience, it means we're speaking the truth. So Ahmed Dawood, I'm going to start with you.
Sure thing.
Okay.
Thank you, Tamer, for the introduction.
Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it. Happy to have you here. So Ahmed, you are literally operating in the real world, not theory. When finance tries to align with business strategy, what actually breaks? When we try to align finance with business strategy, what actually breaks? What did we miss? Please.
Yes. So this is a very difficult question to start with, Tamer. Thanks again for being here. I'm really happy to be with such a great group and a big number of audience as well. As you mentioned, Tamer, I'm coming with a very much heavy operational experience. What is very critical and very important when we talk about finance transformation or finance strategy versus business strategy, it's very important to understand the mindsets of us, of the finance professionals, especially the ones who's managing or they have been through the very much a change from very much stagnant finance operations, as mentioned by the Dr. Salim, very much controlling, focusing on the past as opposed to what is happening as we stand in future. One important point that we always miss as a finance professionals is a very important question. Are we really in the company just heading a finance function or trying to run the business and the operation and the strategy? So that's exactly where the conflict comes. If we think that we are here only to manage a finance function, we will have a big conflict between us as a finance function versus the overall business strategy. So that's exactly the key conflicting point, if I would say. In a different way, we are very much professionals, especially the old finance CFOs like myself. We focus more on governance. We focus more on controls, and we build our even digital transformation finance structures to fit for our purpose as a finance professionals. So in order to be able to crack this, it's very important for us as a finance professionals to understand where this company should be heading and what are the key 3 to 5 important strategic imperatives, and build our structures, our systems, our even capabilities for now and future to fit for that. And frankly speaking, Tamer, it is not easy because there is always a conflicting point for us to keep on over controlling the organization. So these are the key important points I have in mind.
Ahmad, a follow-up question and pick one of 3. Okay,
Sure.
Is it systems, people, or leadership?
So I think leadership
one.
comes first. Leadership
Yeah.
comes first because if you have the unbiased mindset, you will be able to solve for the other 2 points you mentioned. Yeah.
Appreciate it, Ahmed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Parish, heading up to you. Okay. So we keep hearing this shift. CFO as a strategic architect. CFO as a strategic architect. What actually changed and what forced the change to happen? You're muted.
Thanks, Dr. Tamer. Thanks for highlighting.
Please.
We'll keep it very simple and from very strategic point of view. So technically, what happens is you use a 4C framework. So technically, and you start with you're right now an architect. All right. Earlier, you were a custodian. That means you were at the back end. 80% of your time was on the back end. Then you moved in as a controller, where you're managing, you're doing your governance, you're doing your compliance. All right. Now you come to the 3rd level, which was 3 years back. As Doctor just mentioned in the introduction address, you were with the co-pilot. All right. And now you are the architect along with the CEO who creates the value creation. So that's where the system has changed rapidly from the last decade. So today, technically, you're going into agentic AI. And of course, you got something which is called super intelligent AI. So that means you got a clone as an exemplar. The Meta CEO has got a clone for him on attending meetings and giving decision making. So you see what's happened is a CEO is having his own separate clone wherein you move forward and you would be only there where you're required and you will not be there where you're not required from that particular perspective. Of course, the main CEO has got the controls. So again, from a CFO perspective, you have to start moving from your day-to-day operations into value creation. So value creation could be the angle or the maturity, what you have in the organization. So let's take an example of ecosystems. So if your organization, you take a clock from 12 to 3, if you're on the level of 12 and you want to go into a cluster, then it is better you start at the cluster of 1 to 3, as in a clock. If your maturity level is at 3, you move from 3 to 6. And if you're an organization, say, on a higher level, you go from 6 to 9, and who's on 9, 9 goes to 12. So you see how the orchestration, what we talk about, moves into the ecosystem. So that's how you enhance yourself in strategy. You don't work on perennial, typical strategic partnerships. You go into the ecosystem, you go in clusters. So that's where you move from a governance to the strategic architect of what you are. So that's where the CFO's role becomes equivalent to a joint CEO. That's where the value creation comes in. So the traditional CFOs have to go out of the box. The mindset has to change, and you move ahead on that particular front. So that becomes very, very critical.
Do you think it was an evolution or survival? Quickly.
Sorry?
Do you think it happened because of evolution or survival?
So now you are, so excellent question, Dr. Tamit. So technically what's happening is there are two perspectives. So I'll give you an example from an India perspective. All right. You got something in India in boards, which is called a corporate social responsibility. All right. So that means whatever company is achieving, 2% of the profits are kept aside, wherein you go towards United Nations standardized goals. All right. Just to give you an example. Now, similar thing with AI coming in, and a lot of losses, reductions, workforce restructuring is going on. Now, the question for the CFO is, does he protect the human or does he protect the corporate? So you see, there's a difference between protecting capitalism along with protecting the human force. So this is where the CFO has to balance it. That means the company goes towards value creation, but of course, you have a plan or transition for the human. So that's where the CFO roles evolves.
So it's
I hope I answered your question.
Perfectly. So stay with me, Parish. The common questions for you as well. So when you say strategy first, when we say strategy first, what does that actually look like in a normal working day, day-to-day operation? How to strategize first, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Dr. Tamir. So what's happening is from across the globe, and current situation is you have to start thinking of capital allocation. Now, what's happening, majority of the CFOs or the current executives are looking from a traditional path, being a steward, coming back to the first question. But what happens is as you evolve, you are going to go towards capital allocation. So as Dr. Sufi just mentioned earlier, I use GPT, I use this thing, but I didn't hear the word Claude. Dr. Sufi should think he could use Claude as well, which is far superior to OpenAI, just to give you on a personal note, without naming the company. So what happens is you would be having different systems. The pricing strategy becomes important from a CFO. So that's where he has to look at value creation, protecting the human. Similar lines, he has to look at how does he manage the different agents or the AI tools, and how does the workforce augment itself. So instead of being a day-to-day practitioner on compliance and guardrails, yes, which is not unimportant, that is also important by itself. So the CFO roles goes right from being a day-to-day operation compliance person to managing the guardrails, protecting the board, and of course, protecting the management as well while making things move ahead. So he has to be the entire ecosystem now, instead of being just the governance or the compliance or the P&L holder on that particular front. So strategy is changing. How does he have a finance department with humans working with agents? How do they create their own guardrails first? How does people do not, tamper with the P&L, or how do, there's a guardrail to protect it, that relevant people or, finance can only access, and what is given, what is not given. So that again comes back to policies. So CFO has to be an all-rounder, in short, day to day, and he has to be very, very clear. How does he cross-function, or how does the finance move into all the functions? Just like technology function will not remain in technology, cross-functionally, each function will start going and complementing into different functions. So
I believe in short, we're wearing multiple hats.
Absolutely.
And we're ready to wear those multiple hats.
Absolutely. So strategic workforce planning is very, very critical right now on all aspects. Yeah.
Thank you. Anand, Anand, this is where we get uncomfortable with taxes.
Yeah.
Please unmute yourself. This coming question is for you. So, short-term performance versus long-term value. Again, short-term performance versus long-term value. How do we actually balance both without one killing the other? Please.
Thank you. So first of all, thank you, Dr. Tamer, for the introduction. This is, I think, the role of the CFO today is not longer about balancing between the financial performance and the strategic value. It's more about how the short-term performance basically support to achieve the long-term strategy of the business. So I believe there is some things that the CFO need to focus on, like having real clarity on what actually drive values. Not all the revenue or the decision are equal. Some decision might improve the performance in the short term, but don't necessarily support the sustainable growth. And sometimes basically we have to accept a short-term impact because the right decision for the business over the long term. We have seen now a lot of companies, Dr. Tamer, are investing in technology and system automation as well. A lot of people see it as a cost. Yes, it's a cost, reducing profitability current year, but within a year or two, it improve efficiency, reduce errors, and give much better visibility for the decision making. So I would not say that there is, I would call it, it's a balance basically. It's more about making sure that every short-term decision is actually building toward the long-term value.
Anand, do you think companies really balance short-term versus long-term, or just they say they do? Quickly, please.
Actually, currently we can see there is improvement in the mindset of the companies, but again, everyone as what we have seen in the practice, they are trying to protect their profitability for the current year. So if we come in the practice, some company, yes, they do, and some not, honestly.
Appreciate it, Anna. Appreciate it. Dr. Hala, it's your turn. So let's challenge the traditional thinking right now of CFOs and finance people, and let's move on to crime fighting. So risk used to slow things down. We all know that as CFOs. Risk compliance used to slow everything down. Now we need it to support innovation, new projects, new initiatives. How do you redesign risk without losing control, Dr. Hala?
Thank you, Dr. Tamer. Hello, everyone. CFOs, ladies and gentlemen. So to answer your question, yes, basically in today's environment, the greatest risk is not taking risks, it's mismanaging them. So as organizations compete on speed, technology, strategic agility, CFOs nowadays are no longer affording a position of risk management as a barrier. Instead, jumping into a strategic instrument that actively shapes innovation, shaping capital allocation and competitive advantage. So CFOs nowadays, I'm talking in 2026, are reframing risk management from a control function into a value shaping function. This means we're moving beyond protecting downside to actively engineering upside. So to answer your question, yes, CFOs, we need to adopt to a portfolio logic for risk. Innovation should not be evaluated project by project, but as a diversified portfolio, balancing safe returns with high uncertainty bets. So this allows a CFO to absorb failure intelligently without capturing breakthrough value. This is actually a mindset borrowed from, what do we call that? Basically, within coming into permissioned risk environment. Instead of slowing teams with layered approvals, they define clear boundaries, financial exposure limits, and compliance thresholds. So a powerful but underused concept here is risk velocity as well. It's not only the size of risk that matters, but how quickly the organization can detect, respond, and adapt. So CFOs who invest in real-time data and in predictive analysis and early warning systems, they transfer risk management into a competitive speed advantage. One more thing here is that CFOs should rethink metrics. The traditional KPIs punish uncertainty. Modern CFOs track optionality, learning curves, scalability potential, and time to pivot. This aligns financial evaluation and how innovation actually creates value.
Actually, Doctor,
Finally,
I'm sorry to interrupt you. We used to say as CFOs, we can't predict the future, but we can get ready for it. And that's
definitely.
what you just said right now.
Exactly, and to elaborate more on what you're saying, the real shift is cultural as well. So the CFOs must legitimize the disciplined experimentation where failure is acceptable if it generates insight. It is unacceptable if it reflects weak controls or poor judgment. So when done right, risk management becomes not a brake, but a navigation system for innovation. I hope this
Okay.
clarifies.
Yes, it did. But in let's say in 10 seconds, what's one outdated risk practice that should disappear?
What's one outdated risk practice that should disappear? Yeah, that's a very good question. I can say that CFOs can integrate the non-financial risks, especially regulatory, cyber, and reputational risks, into innovation design, and that was not conducted previously. So this is particularly critical in sectors exposed to financial crime, where innovation without embedded controls can create systematic vulnerabilities.
Thank you, Dr. Hala. Anan, I'm back to you. So let's say, where should CFOs be looking for growth today? New markets, M&A, digitalization, or are we all chasing the same ideas with different slides?
Yeah, so basically, it's a very good question. Now, CFO actually, first of all, before going into where they should chase the growth opportunity, they need first of all to be part of who shaping the growth and strategy of the company. So especially the CFO, as you know, that they have a very unique position because they have visibility across the business, so they can see the performance, the risk, and where exactly the value is really coming from. So first of all, as Dr. Salim Sufi said, the CFO role now become more on a strategic and with the top management. So not only like before they got the growth plan and accepting it and implementing. No, the role now of the CFO changed. They have to basically challenge that growth by asking questions. Is this a sustainable growth? Are we focusing on the right area? Especially in what we have seen so far, some of the companies are really reducing, for example, their cost by, for example, like reducing the headcount, where revenue stayed at the same. It looked like a growth, I agree, but it's not reality driven by the business itself. The business is not growing. The business is same. It just actually it's reducing the cost. So are we look? Is this the growth that we're looking for? Of course not. So here also the CFO need to bring more strategic view to opportunities, as what you mentioned, that whether to enter a new market, launching a new product, or even merger and acquisition. The CFO can assess in the real return, assess in what are the risks basically, and how it fits with the overall strategy. Sometimes opportunity is there, but the business itself need more clarity, more confidence to move forward and to push that opportunity. And that where with the CFO can really add the value and be part of the decision making. And we see this is a lot in practice, especially in areas like digital investment or expansion into a new sector. We're having the CFO involvement along with the strategic lens make a big difference. So overall, the CFO no longer just reviewing growth plans. They are now actively shaping where we want to go, what our ambitions as a business, and of course, be part of the strategy.
With an answer of a yes or no, do you think, Anan, that CFOs should become risk takers or risk avoiders? And I will go to all of my panelists. Yes or no? Quickly. Anan first. Risk takers or risk avoiders?
It should be both.
So balance.
Yeah, exactly.
Parish?
Yeah, I would say risk takers right now. Things have changed. Things have
Dr.
changed
Hala?
dramatically. As a strategist, I would recommend before you get wiped out, start moving fast.
Thank you. Dr.
Scalability
Hala?
is very critical now. Things have changed dramatically.
Dr. Hala?
Okay, from my perspective, a strong CFO is neither a gambler nor conservative. They are disciplined risk optimizers. So taking the right risks at the right time while protecting the organization from downside threats.
Let me call it a political answer, but I'll take it. Ahmed? Yeah. Ahmed?
By default, Tamer and team, we became more risk takers, but it's very important to really assess all the dimensions of risk that we are going through. So it's very important. You cannot stay risk averse CFO nowadays. We cannot.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Ahmed and Parish, please stay with me. This coming question is for both of you.
Sure.
So let's address the obvious topic, AI. Everyone talks about it. Okay. So what has it actually changed in finance so far? I know, but I want the audience to know from your own perspective.
So, Ahmad, if you're okay, I will talk from the board and the governance angle. I'll leave the
Please.
finance aspect to you. So I'll talk from a strategy perspective.
Please.
So for me, going from the boardroom, say a year back, while I'm being a certified independent director as well, my daughter's been very instrumental in me going on the AI journey, because she herself being an AI architect, she has recommended that I start moving in, and she was absolutely right. This was a year back, that if I do not move into AI, where we are seeing as a strategist, all the frameworks are typical. Unless you move from a standard operating model as a strategist, you have to start moving into the AI model. And the AI model is very, very important, is competitive intelligence. So as a strategist, what we're doing right now, it's not fundamental. Fundamental is all taken. The SWOT analysis, the blue ocean strategy, all the frameworks are okay. It's all given. You put it into GPT or cloud, will give you the answer. What makes you different is how do you get the competitive intelligence from various industry? Industry X is doing A. How can I combine it with B? And how do I take it into C? So innovation is about cash. It is about convenience. And most important, it is about connectors. So the new strategy is how do you connect across the ecosystem? How do you connect with the parallel industries, take the best aspects and move ahead? So that's what, if you look from a very different angle, you look at the AI tools right now. So you give a prompt, say, you're my junior analyst, you analyze the P&L for me. Now you see that's a generic command. But what happens is if you put your sequence, you build up your skill set, in the tool with your collective and creative questions. So you have built an engine. Once you build an engine, the engine runs. In 5 minutes, as Dr. Sufi earlier mentioned about the IRS, is the same thing. So we run a 5,000-page strategy report, which could be of multiple companies, holding companies, subsidiary companies, and blah, blah. But the same thing, the output comes in 5 minutes. Now, what do you want to take the weak signal? What do you want to come and penetrate into the business vantage point? That's what matters now. So speed is of prime importance on the first prospect. Now that's the area for attack from AI, whatever analytics, data, everything you get in. But from a defense perspective, what are the guardrails you are building? Because I have done in my 1 year of experience with experimentation on a lot of tools, wherein you put a prompt and you put your command engine, but still your version 3 will give you an hallucination, which will indirectly get you to a problem area. That's where you look right now, the UK FRC has passed something on agentic governance, which nowhere across in the world it is there right now. So you see, your guardrails are very, very critical from the other point. So that's where your risk-taking ability, while your risk defense ability becomes very, very important. Because in the end, remember, you as the CFO, the human in the loop who takes the decision will sign off. And it's not going to be the agent who comes and protects you. Yeah, so we have examples of
Thank you,
companies where
Parsh.
they've got age. Yeah, sorry.
Ahmed, what do you think about that?
Look, so this is a very common challenge that we face as we stand. So it goes back to where we were as a finance function to where we are as we stand. So it's very simple. We used to really spend a hell of time to look at the past, but recently looking at the past has become a very much minor thing, even during the board discussions, monthly reviews, and so on. So AI, we have to think about AI as a tool that is really helping us to analyze the current/past in order to really understand what are the scenarios for future. And this is one very critical, very important. And of course, moving to the granular analytics, getting some sort of more highlights on the quality of the data. To Dr. Hala's point, sensing the risk. So AI is becoming a very much critical, important tool that is really helping us to save 90%, if not more, of our previous time as a finance function to analyze the current and past for future. This is one. So many questions has been triggered in relation to which tool, how I start, and so on. I have been using AI since more than a year intensively. What is very critical and very interesting, Tamer, is you cannot imagine how you are personally getting developed using AI tools day after day. So for example, we started now to think, oh, okay, I can use this platform for scripts, but the other platform is for presentations. The other one is even for very much specific detailed
You're
management.
building your own team, stack team. Carry on, please. I know
Yes,
exactly what you're
exactly.
talking
Thank
about.
you. Thank you. So these are so just to start, you will really realize how you are self-developing yourself every day, every now and then. So this is it. But I have so many questions, so many points to add here, but I because of time, so I cannot go for that.
Thank you, Ahmed. Thank you. But yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about, and I appreciate that. Dr. Hala, speaking of influence, okay, CFOs don't always have authority across the business. We all know that back in the day, okay? But they are expected to influence everything. The board, the leadership, the teams, cross divisions. What skills, let's say, what are the 3 skills that actually makes that work to become an influencer? Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Tamer. That's a very good question. Basically, let me start with the fact that the modern CFO operates in a paradox nowadays. They are expected to shape the most critical decisions in the organizations, yet often without direct authority over those making them. So influence you talked about becomes their most valuable currency, earned not through hierarchy, but through insights, credibility, and strategic clarity. So to operate at this level, CFOs should be evolving into what can be described as the architects of decision making. So at the core is the intellectual authority. This is number one, the ability to bring sharper, more forward-looking insights than anyone else in the room. So if you are a CFO, you're supposed to constantly anticipate risks, quantify uncertainty, and frame strategic trade-offs. So this is where influence begins, where others rely on your thinking, not just on your data. Number two, which I think is equally critical, is the narrative precision. So numbers rarely convince on their own, and this is a very important fact here. Decisions are driven by how those numbers are interpreted. So high impact CFOs, and we know lots of them, are driven by how those numbers are interpreted. So they translate financial complexity into a clear strategic story. So they ask like, what is the risk? Where is the hidden opportunity? And what happens if we were wrong? Another differentiator here is, which is number three, is behavioral awareness. So boards and executives are not purely rational. And here the concept of rationality is something very important, especially in economics. They are influenced by bias, by incentives, by risk perception. So CFOs who understand concepts like overconfidence, loss aversion, or groupthink can guide decisions without confrontation. So shaping the outcomes through framing, I can say, rather than force. If I can add one more thing, I can say the cross-functional fluency here is essential, since you talked about the teams. So CFOs must speak the language of technology, operations, and strategy, not to replace experts, but to connect perspectives and align priorities. So in essence, the modern CFO is no longer the guardian of numbers. He is the strategic mind that defines how the organization thinks, decides, and moves forward.
So I believe you just summarized the scale of public speaking, Dr. Hal.
Yes, definitely. Public speaking, in addition to the communication skills and negotiation skills, I think these are the basics of what each and every CFO must have in 2026, definitely.
Appreciate it. And unfortunately, we exceeded the time allocated for us, and I will have to wrap it up right now to open for Q&As. So I believe if you are a CFO and listening to our panel, our session, and thinking this sounds hard, it's not hard, but think about it in an opposite way. That's why not everyone can do it. Not everyone can change. For me personally, I don't think that our role as CFOs has expanded or changed. No, but the expectation has changed. Expectation from us. Zia, I will take it back to you. Thank you, Dr. Hala. Thank you, Anan. Thank you, Parish. Thank you, Ahmed, my dear friend. Zia, we're back to you to open the floor for Q&As. Please.
Dr.
Thank you.
Tamer and the panelists, thank you very much. I think we really enjoyed your discussion. You all have spoken from your heart. As Dr. Tamer said in the beginning, not theoretical, very practical. Ahmed Dawood, Paresh, Anand, Dr. Hala, Dr. Tamer, you guys have been very instrumental and very real, practical and real life discussion. Now we are open the floor, and because of the time factor, Khurram Shehzad. Khurram, please come to the stage, and Khurram has an excellent question. Khurram, please bring to the stage, and Dr. Tamer will advise which panelist should answer that. Khurram Shehzad. Otherwise, Noman, please read his question for Khurram Shahzad. Noman.
Just give me a minute. Yeah.
Khurram Shahzad question is to me, AI wouldn't replace CFOs, but CFOs who use AI will replace those who don't. What mindset shift? This is the question. What mindset shift has been hardest for the finance leaders when adopting AI? Dr. Tamar. Let's hear from Dr. Tamar.
Okay. By the way, gentlemen, thank you, Zia, for the question. If I were not someone who loves numbers and finance, I would have become an IT guy. So it's like a personal hobby to me. I love AI and IT. So in 2 words, trial and error. Adapt yourself to accept mistakes and learning new things. 2 years ago, I wouldn't have a clue about AI, about prompt engineering, about creating or developing a complete website, functional website. But now I'm building agents. So see the difference. I'm a finance guy, a CFO, a coach, but still I'm building agents and I'm still learning day by day. So again, accept mistakes, but evolve and accept new mistakes, not all mistakes. New mistakes means you're doing something new and learning something new. That's my part. I believe floor is open to all who can
Thanks,
relate.
Dr. Tamir. So Zia, and for the person who asked the question, technically the new skills required critically would be curiosity, collaboration, cooptation, and of course the most critical skill would be your mindset change. So it's you experiment, you move forward on every stage, and the person who does not experiment, he will be extinct. On a very
Thank you
brutal
very much.
fashion.
Thank you, Paresh. I think you have summed it very well. Thank you, all the panelists. I love that perspective that Dr. Hala Faisal said as well. Like, mistakes are not bad. I think why don't in this part of the culture, sometimes we believe mistakes are bad. No, mistakes are not bad if we learn something from them and we don't repeat them. Okay. Accepting a defeat is a part of success, but we must learn why we missed it and not to repeat it and how to improve in the future. Mistakes are not at all bad, and I think we all agree to this. Thank you very much, Dr. Tamer, Ahmed Daud, Paresh, Anand, Dr. Hala Faisal. We had a lovely time with all of you, and thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate everyone. Thank you.
Now, with this, we go to the next part of the discussion. Very interesting discussion is going on. We have more questions. Myself, Noman, and my team is taking care of it. Shafiq, we will take these all questions and we will answer. We are answering few questions as we go, but we will get back to with all the questions either end of the conference or through different media. We have all of your details and we'll get back to you. With this now, keeping with the best interest of the time, you all are very senior professional, busy people, and this is the weekend as well all across the globe. Now, I would love to invite my senior Maca alumni and a member and a seasoned CFO, Sayyid Khalid Noor. Sayyid Khalid Noor is leading our Pakistan chapter. And Sayyid Khalid Noor, I personally have learned many things from Sayyid Khalid Noor. We were discussing one topic just briefly, maybe a few minutes ago. Salim mentioned this in his slides, cross-functional project. I have learned this myself face to face from Sayyid Khalid in year 2016 in one of the conference. He told us in one of the summit in Dubai, he said, if any one of you want to grow in your career, be part of strategic projects in your organization, add value to those projects. Once you will deliver the value, organization will itself look at you as senior leaders, and this is how you will grow yourself in your career and the organization as well. We have Sayyid Khalid Noor, who is leading our Pakistan chapter. Sayyid Khalid Noor is a seasoned finance professional. He's a fellow chartered accountant from Institute of Chartered Accountant of Pakistan. He has served the institute in multiple positions. He has spent around 2 decades with Unilever, learned a lot of best practices. Then he went to Novartis. He had a very different kind of unique proposition there. He was the CFO and the CHRO, a very unique combination. Maybe very few of us may have that liberty and comfort and that recognition to be a CFO and a CHRO. Very sensitive position. Sayyid Khalid Noor, we all learn from him. He's our mentor, he's our senior leader, and he will take care of, he has in his team Ghulam Abbas and Mustafa Kamal from Pakistan. They all have worked very closely, adding value to this event. And now the mic and floor towards Sayyid Khalid Noor. We will listen to you and your speaker. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Zia. It's a pleasure to be on this esteemed forum. And I have the pleasure to introduce my mentor in strategy management. So it is my greatest pleasure and honor to introduce Mihai Ivanescu. He's a leading strategy management practitioner with over 2 decades of experience in translating strategy from theory into practice. Mihai is well known for his critique and guidance with over 400 postings on strategy formulation and execution post on LinkedIn. He connects best ideas across the strategy discipline into an integrated and end-to-end workflow, which we'll see today. And he's now enhanced it with AI to help leaders move from formulation to planning and to execution with greater speed and clarity. So I would now ask Mihai to take over and present his ideas on strategy practice.
Thank you very much, Khalid. I hope that you all can hear me. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to present my ideas and my experience, including my recent convergence between strategy and AI to so many people. I know what does it mean to bring roughly 200 people on a webinar or on an event like this. So congratulations for your efforts of setting up this virtual summit. Just to summarize a few things about myself, roughly 30 years of experience as a software engineer, and roughly 20 years of experience as a strategist. At the intersection of these two things, I've been able to judge strategy from an engineering point of view, which is probably a little bit not that peculiar, because many thought leaders in the strategy fields have been or are engineers. So let me bring in a couple of slides that I've prepared for you to share my ideas about the topic of the event today, which is the intersection between strategy and the finance function. And of course, this is my own perspective. I'm not a financier, so please apologize if I make any possible mistakes in relation to the finance job and finance function. So let me try to share my screen here. Okay. Let me see. Microsoft PowerPoint. Share. I apologize. It will take a little bit of time to open the settings. Let's do the following. Until I fix this allowing Zoom to access my files on my computer, if you can share the presentations that I've sent to you,
Okay.
that would help.
No problem. Noman, let's bring the presentation, and Mihai, you keep going. Noman will bring it.
Okay. So I probably be able to do it myself, because it's just a matter of a few switches, and let me see if I can do it. I'll try again. Yes, you're opening the PowerPoint. Let me try again to to.
Yeah, just try if the best will open.
Yeah, it should work now. It should work now. I've just allowed. Can you see the presentations that I'm sharing?
Yeah, it's fine. Yes.
Yeah, it's there.
Okay. Excellent. So, which means that probably I'll be able to share my my browser in the second part, where I'll try to show a demonstration of how strategy and AI can work together. So the topic, it's actually something very interesting. It's research and work in progress about how can we integrate strategy and finance. And I'll show you my perspective on this. So strategy, it's taking care of a couple of things. It's working with a number of artifacts, which are business models, capabilities of an organization, but also strategy feasibility. We can imagine a strategy, but if it's not feasible, we don't have the resources to implement it, it's actually a useless strategy. And then we use something like annual stratix. It's called the strategy expenditure. How much does it cost us to implement a new strategy? It's a very important thing, and if we won't be able to provide the financing of all the actions and changes that we want to do as a consequence of formulating a strategy, it will be again a useless strategy. And then strategy, once it has been formulated, we need to implement it in the reality of our organization, in the reality of the marketplace. And all of the changes produced are affecting processes and various functions, production, sales, marketing, and it also has an impact on the resource managers, HR and finance and IT and so on. And it means that we are planning every year for the next couple of years to change the way business is done. Now, of course, if we are planning to do that, everybody needs to understand what is going to happen in their area of responsibility, including in the area of finance. So that's why the changes that strategy is planning to implement in our organization should be anticipated and shared with everybody in order to allow them to synchronize in advance with the changes that will be produced. That turns those functions into a strategic function, including a strategic finance function. On the finance part is just, I'm looking at a couple of things that the finance has under control. It's about foresight, external financing, and not just lenders and shareholders, but many other sources of financing. Obviously, it governs the annual budgets, and as a matter of fact, the financial governance it's an essential function that it's performed by finance. And just to connect to the previous idea, financing of any projects, including the strategic initiatives, which are actually projects, it's something that it's controlled by finance. So, of course, this story that I'm telling is valid as long as we have a strategy function in an organization, because the finance function is always there. I mean, there is no company in the world that doesn't have a door which says finance on the door, or something equivalent, a finance function, even if it's a startup. Someone takes care of the financial part of the business. However, tell me, in how many companies have you seen a door which has a sign writing saying strategy or strategy management or the office of strategy management? Not in many places, which means that for a long time, many organizations have been managed without a system of actually managing strategy. And the strategy function has been something that was diluted among executive teams and things like this. So again, our entire discussion about integrating finance with strategy is valid as long as there is a strategy function in an organization. If it's not, well, I don't know what advice to give you. You need to set the strategy function to work in a systematic manner, and you need a strategy management system to be set in place. Not just some random decisions, some strategy retreats and mission, vision, values, and stuff like this. So, no, that's not strategy management. Okay, so assuming that we have this condition available to us, that we have both strategy and finance function, let's see how they work, or they should work together. And the next slide, it's about the fact that to turn finance into strategic finance, we need to have an integration with a strategy function. I think that's basic logic. That turns finance into strategic finance, which gives a strategic dimension to finance. So how can we achieve this? Well, let's go into more graphical diagrams. And what I'm showing here, it's something that starts from the idea that we have two fundamental layers of management inside an organization. One is the operations layer, and the other one is the strategy layer. Why are they different, and why we're talking about these two? Why don't we have, for instance, an human resources layer or an innovation layer or whatever? Every manager in an organization, operational, they are part of the activity of the company. Their fundamental job is to keep their area that they are managing, their area under their control, as close as possible to how the company and their area should be working. We have something called the SOP, the standard operating procedure. In some companies, it's called somehow else. But just as a reference to in many companies, SOP, it's a standard thing. And what does it mean? It means that we have defined a standard of how the company should be operating. And unfortunately, it doesn't happen like this. On almost a daily basis, we have all sorts of deviations and variations and disturbances. And the fundamental role of operations manager is actually to bring all these deviations, all these departures from the standard back in line. So they have a fundamental control function, and to be able to keep the stability of the way the company was supposed to function. In strategy, we do, as part of the strategy managed function, we do the exactly opposite of this. We're actually finding some specific reasons that I'm going to talk about, and strategy for those reasons will actually change the SOP. Very briefly, for preparing the organization to deal with the challenges that it's expected to confront in the future. So it's actually creating a new SOP. Of course, it's not necessarily a completely new, but still it's a different standard operating procedure, a new way of operating the business, which means that it's almost contradictory to what the operations managers are doing. And we need to understand that these two layers of management needs to be synchronized as well as possible. And that's what the diagram in front of you is saying. So we have two fundamental processes as part of the strategy management. We have the strategy formulation. So we find the necessary reasons why the company needs to change. We formulate a strategy, but that's just a bunch of ideas. Nothing happens in reality. So we need to implement the strategy. And we have this term called strategy execution, which is nothing else. And we turn the bunch of ideas that we have decided upon which are representing our strategy, and turning it into the reality of our organization, into the reality of the marketplace, and that's what we do. As part of the formulation, there are a significant amount of elements related to finance inside our strategies that we formulate. So we need to have, during the strategy formulation process, a very close communication between the people who are managing the strategy formulation and people who are managing the finance function. That it's half of turning finance into a strategic finance. It's a significant contribution of finance to formulating the strategy of the organization that they are part of. So I think it's extremely important. And then we have our plans. Strategy is typically multi-annual, so we will have annual strategic plans and strategy execution cycles for every year. And part of that, we are going to generate very precise changes that are going to change the processes and the activities in the whole company, including the things related to finance. I mean, we are changing the revenue streams and the cost structures because we are making changes like launching new business lines or launching new partnerships or new business models, and therefore it's obviously everything related to the functional inputs and outputs is going to be changed, and it's very important to have all the planning synchronized between, for instance, the budget and the strategic plan. So if the budget is going to affect a lot of things in the budget, the finance function should know in advance what is going to happen to synchronize for instance, the budget as well as possible with the strategic plan for that year. Okay, so how do we go ahead from this? I will show you another diagram. I'm not very good at bullet points, but I draw nice diagrams, well, at least that's what people say. And I will invite you on a quick journey through the strategy formulation, just a few minutes. Strategy formulation process. So first of all, we perform what is called the strategic analysis. That's the first step of the strategy formulation process. Well, we try to understand what is going to happen in the future that will affect our organization. Of course, some things will affect the entire industry. Some others inside the industry in which we are active will influence only our company. From the finance point of view, that is the first fundamental contribution, because some of the things that are going to happen in the future are of financial nature. So who understands that better than the finance people? Which means that a strategic analysis which is done without the contribution of the finance function is not a complete and probably not a correct one. So that's the point A of interfacing between finance and strategy. Now, based on the strategic analysis, the fundamental output from the strategic analysis, it's an understanding of the future challenges, things that are going to happen in the future that are different from what we have encountered in the past as an organization. So understanding the future challenges allows us the possibility to prepare for those challenges. Because we will need to learn how to do our business differently, slightly different or significantly different, exactly because typically the future challenges tends to be different from the challenges that we have had in the past. So once we understand this, we need to build the solutions for them, because challenges are problems and problems require solutions. And that's what we do by formulating a strategy. We're creating a mix of solutions for future challenges. Now, because they are future challenges, we have some time available to prepare for them. And that is a fundamental role of strategy, to prepare our organization to successfully encounter the challenges. They are not going to be encountered all at the same time. There will be some sort of sequence of encountering various challenges. And they can be positive challenges as well as negative challenges, opportunities and threats. Again, they are challenging because they usually are different from the opportunities and threats that we've been able to surmount in the past. Of course, some of them will not be different, and obviously that doesn't require a strategy. If all of them would be similar to the ones that we've encountered in the past, we would need no strategy at all. But that's not the case. So we need a strategy to prepare us in advance for encountering and surmounting all those challenges that we anticipate to encounter over the next couple of years. So we have the solutions. We build a solution. We have some rationale about selecting choices, and based on choices to build value propositions that are going to translate our strategic choices into the reality of the marketplace. And we need to understand, first of all, if our solutions are viable. We're talking about new business models. New business models include the balance between the revenue streams and the cost structure. And by the way, we need also a return of investment, because to implement those solutions, we will need to spend money over the next couple of years to be able to turn the strategy from a bunch of ideas into the reality of the organization, into the reality of the marketplace. So it is a point B of fundamental interaction between finance and solution, because it allows us to see, will we have the resources available over the next couple of years to finance the changes that we are intending to do, but at this point, to understand if the outcome of our changes is going to be something viable. Currently, probably our company is viable. Once we do these changes, will it continue to be viable? And we're looking exactly through the lenses of the new kind of value propositions, new products, new business lines, and so on. And then we come to solution requirements, and solution requirements are typically about capabilities. And because the challenges are those that we're targeting with our strategy are different from the ones in the past, it's very likely that some of the capabilities required to support them will be different from the capabilities that we currently have in our organization. Different processes, different systems of management, different competencies, different sets of information, different relationships, different sales channel possibly. So a variety of new things that we need to set in place. Otherwise, we can't actually deploy the strategy in reality. Now, some of the capabilities may already exist, and we just need to adapt them to the specific requirements of implementing the value propositions, the strategic choices into the reality as resulted from our strategy formulation. And in other cases, there are simply new things. We might not never needed to do them before, part of what we did before we formulate this strategy. So we need to understand if these are the capabilities required, which are the financial capabilities required to be involved. Will we be able to collect revenue from customers, from types of customers that we never interacted before? Will we be able to share financial resources between multiple lines of business or categories of products, which they have, each of them have their own live stream and timing? There are a variety of things, and when the finance people are sitting around the table and answer the question, what capabilities do we need to set in place to support our new strategy? They are obviously able to use the entire theory and practice of financial governance and say, yes, we will need to this and that, this new financial resource management system and other elements related to the finance functions. That's the point C of the interaction between finance and strategy. And then we have a strategy which has been produced with the contribution and also viability validation of the finance function. And now we come to implementing the strategy. But before doing this, it's a fundamental thing that we need to do, and it's a validation gateway which is related to feasibility. Will we have the financial resources to finance all the changes, all the strategic initiatives, closing all the gaps in capabilities missing or misconfigured that we need to do in order to allow the company outcomes to be implemented in reality, new value proposition, new products, and so on. And this is a fundamental contribution of the strategy function, because I need to say, yes, we will be able to mobilize the financial resources. Of course, involved are other types of resources, like, for instance, human resources. We will have the people necessary to implement all these changes along these next couple of years. And that it's the end of the strategy formulation. If we can pass our strategy through this gateway, it means that we can start implementing it right away. obviously in a sequence of steps. And now we look into the strategy execution. We're starting to implement our strategy. Now, because strategy is multi-annual and typically the planning cycles inside an organization are predominantly annual, we also need to have annual execution cycles, each of them with a strategic plan. So we perform the strategic planning at organizational level. We align it throughout the organizations. There's the process of vertical and horizontal alignment. And then we move to a fundamental spot, which is, or step in the process, which is operational integration. And what does it mean? From the perspective of the finance function, first of all, we need to clarify for the finance people which are the positions in the budget. It doesn't matter if it's CapEx or OpEx, it just needs to identify which are going to finance the strategic initiatives. And now we have a much precise understanding of exactly how much money and when and what sequence do we need to invest to be able to do all the changes that resulted from the strategy over the course of next year. Because typically strategic planning and all this, and also operational integration is done on annual basis. So
Sorry, we have 10 more minutes only. So we would like to see.
I will finish this and go more quickly through the other slides, because it's I already presented the concepts. And so sharing the strategy expenditure for initiative financing, it's very important to do that with the finance people. Also, the impact on the revenue streams and cost structure, it's also very important in order for the finance people to synchronize the budget, and not only the budget, but to synchronize every financial function with what is going to happen differently next year based on the strategic plan. And that's it. Then we have an execution and adaptation of the strategy. And just to have an understanding, we have strategy formulation and strategy execution as presented previously. We have an adaptation to the reality. Part of our strategy is wrong, and it happens always, which means that we will need to start implementing the strategy to find out which part is wrong and be able to come back and adapt the strategy and continue with an adapted strategy. And then we'll have the multiple cycles, execution cycle, each of them with a strategic planning, each of them with a synchronization with all the function inside the organization, and of course with the finance. And then how we go beyond that. This is another example of what do we do with a couple of details on the specific stages. There are 5 stages that we go through, and you might see that also we have highlighted the reason why we need a strategy. We have some paramount challenges to surmount over the next couple of years, and that requires us to prepare in advance, and the strategy is exactly doing that. It's allowing us to prepare in advance for encountering those challenges. And then, wow, this is quite an engineering diagram. I hope that you can accept. And we are diving into the steps that we have inside each stage. So now we might be having like something like 5 stages in strategy formulation, but inside those stages are 17 steps. And just because I'm trying to prepare the discussion also about AI here, imagine that we have one highly and very specialized agents for each and every of these steps, which means 17 AI agents, which are experts in that process and decision logic and handling the input and acquiring more input necessary to produce output of each of these steps in order to be able to allow the following steps to be executed. So and that is not just the strategy formulation part. Now you can see that we also have something similar for strategy execution every year. And overall, there are like 32 steps. It's a bunch of AI agents which are very fine-tuned to work with each other and be able to apply the reasoning and a lot of experience and best practices into actually taking the decisions for these steps. Now, these steps are not decided exclusively by AI. Probably in a certain future, they might, the majority of these steps can be performed by AI, but AI can make errors. And the only things that we cannot model inside an AI, the AI agent and large language model and generative AI is the human intuition. And a certain percentage of the errors done by AI can be self-corrected by AI because it has learning capabilities, but others can't. And the only thing that can fix all those remaining errors is human intuition. And that's why very likely AI and human will need to work together for a long time. Let me see how can I switch to my demonstration environment here very quickly, just to show you a few steps and give you an understanding of how strategy and artificial intelligence work together. And it's not about the future tense. I'm talking about today. And let me see. So sharing, hope that this works. I will just close this one to see what's gonna happen. Now, I was supposed to. I've actually closed the browser. Bear with me for a few seconds. I apologize for the delay. We'll start in a second. Okay, so I have my okay. Okay, I've got it. Just allow me to share the browser screen. Do you see it? It should write rapid strategy.
No, not yet. Yeah, I got it.
Yes,
It's here.
Okay, so that's an application which does exactly what I've mentioned. It does an integration between strategy and artificial intelligence. And if I would have been a finance person, probably I would have done something like rapid finance as an integration of finance and AI. Just a quick demonstration. So I'm logging into this environment, and I will be presented with the opportunity to build a case for a company, and I will ask AI to help me first of all create the profile of a company. So let's say that we're talking about Saudi. I haven't tested it before, but Khalid suggested that it might be a good example.
Petrochemicals.
Well, oil and gas. And I think it's Aramco.com. Yeah, and then it's Saudi Arabia. Okay, and of course I can collect myself a lot of information about this company, but it would take me some time. Let's see how much time does it take AI to do this. And I just click the button and see what happens. So we have a number of structured information about a company from the perspective of strategy formulation, and we need to group them in certain categories. Look at the value proposition, business models, at suppliers and costs, revenue, competitors, and also the strategic choices that characterize their business today, and finally at the capabilities that they currently have, various processes, sales channels, management systems, and so on. So okay, did it finish? Yes, it did. So I will save it. Okay, so now we have a start. We should be having a starting point for the for starting to formulate the strategy. So now it populated all this structure of information that we know that is required for the next stages that you have seen as a part of the the strategy process. And it gave us a starting point, which is done very quickly. And AI did all this. Now, let me share with you the fact that we're part of a workflow. Do you remember this diagram that you've seen in my presentation? Well, we are at the first step of the, I think it are 17 steps of strategy formulation. And let's ask AI to help us with, for instance, with the first part of the strategic analysis, which is the driving forces. And driving forces means that we need to take the the macroeconomic view. We use a model which is called PESTEL. It used to be PESTEL, but we turned it into a PEST-LEG because the G comes from geographics and geopolitics, and you can imagine that also globalization, anti-globalization became a fundamental criteria today. But this is macroeconomic. It is going to every criteria that we have here, also 7 of them, will influence the future of our entire industry. But then inside the industry, we have something called Porter 5 forces, which is another model that talks about competitive rivalry and suppliers and customers and new entrants and substitutes. And all this is a categorization system of totally 12 criteria that allows us to create an image of what might happen in the future that will affect our company. And of course, we told AI what is the rationale here, how do we need to do this? And because AI knows everything, and that's a reality, it has information about everything that can be accessed publicly. And therefore, if we say, can you please look into the future along these 12 criteria and tell us what is going to impact our business for Saudi Aramco? And let's see what AI is doing. So this is a little more complex, so it will take a little more than just 30 seconds to be able to provide us with an answer. And something that could have taken us probably a week or two to do all this analysis and to filter the results and to structure them and prioritize them now only takes less than a minute to be done by AI. Now, I want you to look at the fact that everything is editable. So even when AI is filling all these criteria with driving forces that it has identified, we will be able to be the human in the loop. That's a concept. We can actually say, okay, this is suggestions made by AI. Now let's use our knowledge, our experience, our intuition, and modify, amend, delete, add anything, and the result is a combination of AI plus human doing this step based on everything that we've been able to teach AI how to do. And it has supplied actually two types of driving forces with 2 parameters, impact and uncertainty. Everything that is going to happen in the future will have a higher or smaller impact upon our industry or upon our company. But also there is an uncertainty because it's future. We can't tell for sure. So these are the 2 fundamental parameters attached to each of the driving forces along each of the 12 criteria. It actually provided us 2. One of them is more normal, more standardized. The other one is more, an outlier, something unusual. And of course, we can always add our own if we believe that we should complement the what AI has suggested. So we can add our own driving force for any of these criteria. And again, we are trying to create an image of the future. That's fundamental for strategy. And you can see that it is very detailed, very specific to the country, to the company, to the industry. We don't have time to read through them, but it's something that it's very specific because, again, the analysis has been provided with initial input about what company do we have here. I won't tell you about anything. They'll have a time machine for versions control and so on. So what do we do next? Now, take a look at the colors. We have done driving forces and all the others are locked except for the next steps, opportunities and threats and strategic scenarios. Now, do you know what this is? This is an algorithmic view of the strategy formulation process, and then we'll have an algorithmic view of the strategy execution process, starting with strategic planning to implement the strategy. And now we can go to any of these following steps, and we can actually see, okay, we understand the drivers, but will we encounter some outcomes, some events that may be positive or negative that will that is much more granular and much more specific on what is going to happen, the things that we're going to encounter as a company. So we again can do this analysis with the help of AI. And we now have opportunities and threats with 3 parameters: magnitude, how big an opportunity would we be missing if we don't prepare in advance for it, and how much of a threat will we be encountered that will affect us as a company next year or in 2 years or in 3 years, and then disruptive potential. Is it in order to deal with this opportunity or to deal with this threat, we really need to change the way we do business, including the ways that we do finance. And this is significant because if we need to change significantly our business, we need to know that in advance we might be encountering in a couple of years what is called an inflection point, which is changing the rules of the game for our industry, and we need to prepare in advance for something which is different than just the exploitation of our current business and enhancing it and defending it against competitors. And then we have another.
Mihai, I think Mihai, actually we're reaching to our dead end. I think it has been great. We have enjoyed a lot. So if you have 1 or 2 closing remarks, please share. We have one exciting question for you. So we have just 1 minute to wrap up now.
Now, you've got the idea. You've got the
excellent
idea.
Well, it's very exciting, and you will share the link with us and we'll go through it. We'll do some test and try. Maybe I will speak up with Syed Khalid. We will plan one more webinar, maybe only specific on this part. I will speak with Syed Khalid. Maybe we need to keep 60 to 90 minutes focused on this part, and we will agree details with you. But it was very exciting, and we had learned a lot out of it. I think, Noman, you have one good question with you. Noman, can you please ask question?
Yeah, we have a question from Mubashir Khan. How can CFO use tools like rapidstrategy.ai to move from reporting performance to actively driving strategy?
Strategy has nothing to do with reporting performance. That's one point. Second, to drive strategy, you can use such a tool to do whatever you normally do to manage strategy, but much faster. That's why it's called rapidstrategy.ai. In a single word, rapidstrategy.ai. And what does it change? Because again, the rationale of all these steps is the same. AI doesn't invent a new way of doing strategy. We just have been able to make AI to learn exactly how to specialize in each of these steps. So it doesn't do things differently, but it does them surprisingly fast. It doesn't take weeks and months to formulate and the strategy and to develop the strategic plan. The entire process, 32 steps in the ways that you've seen, takes less than an hour without human contribution. With human contribution and each of the steps, it probably takes, let's say, a week maximum. And when have you ever seen a strategy being formulated for an organization together with a strategic planning and everything done in such a short period of time? We have created the opportunity, what is called rapid iteration. We now can iterate several times. We can build a strategy 3-4 times during a single day and test it against various hypotheses and change various parameters and see what we get out of it. Now, with such a tool, a strategist, it's extremely powerful. Imagine the competition between a strategist in a company having such capability and the one in another company which does strategy, traditionally. Just to mention that in some companies, strategy is not even based on a systematic system. It's still done intuitively and based on all sorts of way. So that is now. I haven't answered your question very precisely, but I have provided you the necessary information to answer it fully yourself and understand how can this new context address the issues of using strategy and finance together. Again, if I would have been a finance person, this application would have been not for strategy but for finance. Now, please develop it, because you are finance people.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Mahai. Thank you very much, Sayyid Khalid Noor. It was very entertaining. And Sayyid Khalid and Mahai, I will connect with both of you. We will plan a one dedicated session, maybe somewhere end of May or June, based on your availability. And we will focus on this in a very detailed manner. Thank you very much, but we really enjoyed it. Thank you to both of you.
Thank you
Thank you,
for the
Mihai.
opportunity. Thank you for
Thank
the
you.
Thank you.
opportunity of sharing my ideas with you.
Thank you very much. Salim Yunus, please go ahead.
Thank you, Ziasab. Assalamu alaikum, and thank you, Mr. Khalid. Also, it was a very wonderful session, and Mr. Mahit is also very insightful. So far, I can see that summit is very insightful and very, informative. And from my perspective, I will say that as a finance leader, discussion like this and tools like this, like rapid strategy, which Mr. Mahit presented, are no longer theoretical. They are directly shaping how we operate on daily basis. Now, obviously, strategy, AI, and automation, all these are redefining the role of finance. And it's no longer the accounting and reporting function. It's actually become a forward-looking and value-driven partners per function. Anyhow, I'll not take much of your time because I understand we're already running out of time. So let me quickly actually introduce Ghulam Sabir. Ghulam Sabir is actually our UAE branch chapter council leader. He's a fellow ACCA member. He's a group CEO of SB Group International. He has almost 13 years of cross-industry experience, and he has very much valuable insight and experience in finance, strategy, AI, and transformation. So please join me welcoming Mr. Ghulam Sabir.
Thank you, Salim, for your kind words and for introduction. I must say, what an incredible moment this is. Although I would say the rain spell has stopped last week, but I can see and feel the strategy is still raining today. And every one of you must feeling that the strategy is always first there. Let me begin with a very sincere gratitude to Mr. Salim Sufi, first of all, the founder of Mecca CFO Institute, and the ICMA team, Muhammad Rizwan and Rana Intezar, for giving us this opportunity and setting this wonderful stage. And then I would like to thank the heartiest thanks to the gracious host of Mecca CFO Club KSA chapter, Mr. Zia Mustafa, and the team, including Salim and Noman and the rest of the fellows. And each one of you who are joining us globally from different part of the world, your time, your presence, and your curiosity, what makes conversation like this truly meaningful, I would say. For those I have not met in person, I'm representing the UAE chapter for Mecca CFO Club with an exceptional team. If I might ask Mr. Arshad Malik just to bring up the slide for the team so I can quickly go walk through the team intro. So we are aiming here to build a society basically of a value creator. And like today, Zia Mustafa and the team also is doing the value creation here. So I'm having with my core team here, Mr. Mashood, who is going to be our VP, who's our VP also and going to be moderator for the today panel discussion. I'll having with me Muhammad Umair Bhatt, who is also a senior seasoned finance professional and the finance director, who's heading our operations for the community. Having with me the Ashad Malak, our true gem, and a very humble and very kind seasoned finance professional, who is our secretary. And then we'll be having Angela with us. Mr. Shafiq and Mr. Samir is someone we always learn with, who are the founder and the pioneer of the Mecca CFO Club in the UAE, in the region, I would say. And both are having their own firms and the startups running on. So this is what we are, and we are building on a vision that really help to shape the community beyond the networking, beyond typical discussions, and like having the summits, what we are doing right today. While listening, I must say the sessions from the rapid strategy and the panel discussion from Dr. Tamar and the panel, I have learned something very deeper, that the technology does not create the direction, the people do. And right now, all of us, we are doing it by participating and contributing to this. So with this thought, I would like to say that the future of the CFO will not just adopt to the change, but really the future of the CFO will be defined, who is going to define the future through value creation. With this food of thought, I would like to have an absolute pleasure to hand over this to our moderator, Mr. Mashood Ali Dillo, who will take this conversation forward with the depth and insight it deserves. Thank you, everyone, and I hope you will enjoy ahead also on our today discussion on the strategy first as a strategy, AI, and automation. Though we have spoke a lot on the AI and automation, but we will deep dive further. And let's continue to lead, inspire, and create value together. Over to you, Mashfood.
Thank you very much, Saber. There is one thing is constant, and that is change. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are joining throughout the world. I hope you are not tired, you are still energetic because the passionate people are here to attend on Saturday afternoon to this virtual CFO conference. You know, if you see the revolutionary change from agriculture towards the industrialization and then towards the digitalization. So every change, every era, there was a fear, change, resistance, the job loss, and all these kind of the same attitude was there. But still, people are improving, the business was growing. So the change is constant. So today, CFO stands at the crossroads, not between cost and control, but between what the business is and what business must be. So world has changed, world is changing. So definitely the mandate for the CFO should also be changed. Remember, today environment strategy is not optional. It's oxygen, and the cylinder mainly is with the CFOs. So today, virtual conference, we will not only talk, we will not only listen, but we will engage you as well so that you can really understand and get the benefit. We will run some polls where we will seek your input, what you learned, and in the different segments. So how we plan this UE chapter panel discussion, that where we will try to mainly focus on the CFO role with the strategy and the technology to address in a more better way, because there is a talk of the town, IT, AI, and blah, 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 blah. So, you know, on a lighter note, there is a very good quote by Abraham Lincoln that democracy is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So how I translate this one into that this conference is of the finance professionals, for the finance professionals, and by the finance professionals, and for the current CFOs and the future CFOs. So I hope you will enjoy, because without your engagement, this will not be working. So here, I would like to thank my colleague, Mr. Arshad Hussain Malak, who is helping me to run the different polls. So he's a senior finance professional who is working as a senior leadership role in Al Futtaim Investment in Abu Dhabi. Other than that, he's a very passionate professional and very active member of ICMAP UAE branch. And also, he's an active alumni from the Mecca CFO and very much responsible and energetic and always available for the help. So he will help me to run the poll here. Before going to that one, I would like to engage you. Let's see where we are standing after going through this very valuable discussions, and as well as, okay, let's see after our session where you will be. So I would request Arshad, can you just run the poll for the audience? And you have just 30 seconds to answer it. And this will also show us that still you are not sleeping. So here, where does the CFO role sit in your organization's strategic planning process? Please be honest while responding on this one. It will help us to learn more and understand it. Wow, people are responding very quickly. I'm happy. So this is giving us the energy. Great, great, great. Come on, guys, count on. So we have also shared the barcode. Both options are there. Arshad, can you just drag a little bit the poll because barcode is not appearing. So it will help what I see. Maybe the other audience can comment. So 50% people has replied. And in order to save the time, I will close the poll. So Arshad, can you stop Yes. So let's see. This is there is a majority of the answers that it's standing with the CEO. So let's see where we are going. You can remove the poll, Ashwin. So I would like to introduce my extreme panelist. They are very good. There are three main professionals which are helping us today to understand more about it. Miss Angela, our first panelist, she is the kind of the CFO who does not just read the numbers but rewrites the playbook. She had turned finance into force for transformation in different organizations during her professional career, part of the big fours. I can call it that financial architecture. Our second panelist, Mr. Ghulam Sabar, is the rare finance leader. He's also our president, UA chapter, and he's working as a group CFO. He's very passionate and very much expert as a CFO and as a CVO, and work based on the AI loving guy. And the third panelist is Mr. Muhammad Omer, is the transformation-driven CFO who turns complexity into clarity and strategy into action. As a group CFO, he's a very good to how to work with the different business units to make sure that combined objectives are achieved without having any noise. Remember, dear fellows, today's era is where volatility is constant, disruption is predictable, and the transformation is the only stable currency. So CFO must be architect of a value, the navigator of the uncertainty, and the strategic engine of the enterprise. Let's listen. I would request all my three panelists, just give us a one or two sentence what you understand about the relationship of the strategic CFO today, modern CFO, with the AI and strategy. So Angela, starting from you, please.
Yes, good evening, everyone, and thank you for the warm introduction. Yes, indeed, the strategy, AI, and automation seems to be an absolutely hot topic in the C-level. And with the maturity with strategy and AI today, we can say the strategy without AI, it is a strategy without an altitude. And also AI without a strategy, it's just a noise that have no direction. And for the modern CFO, this is actually no longer two disciplines, it's just one powerhouse. If you separate them, you are going to weaken the business, but if you are going to fuse them, you will accelerate it.
So it means AI plus strategy is equal to modern CFO. Thank you. Yes, Saber, what is your take on it?
Thank you, Mashur, first of all, for your intro and kind words. I'm confused literally with all these strategy and AI drops. What should I say? But I think the CFOs who's not architecting the strategy and embedding them is going to be challenged. So strategy first means CFO claim that seat first. Otherwise, the CIOs, the consultants, somebody has to take that seat. So be ready and be proactive for that. That's the only take I would say.
So be ready and be proactive. Yes, Omer, what do you say?
Thank you, dear Mashood, for the warm introduction. My understanding, based on the overall discussion that we had, is that AI is not merely a tool anymore. It's a strategic capability which is going to impact, two levers: the people and the processes, and it will enhance the value creation part, leading towards competitive advantage when applied properly. So I will call it as a first rule for technology application. Regarding the second rule, we will discuss that later on during the course of our discussion.
Thank you. So it's must that we agree on it. Angela, being UAE, we know there is a 2031 vision. So in this environment, what has fundamentally changed about the board, about the CFO role? So what board is expecting that where CFO should be in the boardroom, in the strategy, or just only a normal role, which traditional role?
In the first session, Dr. Tamer was summarizing it so beautiful. Actually, the CFO mandate did not expand, but the expectation have been intensified. Because, the CFO, it is not a function only for the financial stewardship, and is not longer transition into an ambition. We are actually the engines that are turning the organizational and national vision into executable momentum. And if 3 years back, the CFO has been assessed by the accuracy and timeliness of the financial reporting, boards today are not evaluating this. They are evaluating actually the power of the intelligence that the CFO is bringing into the room and how the decisions are moving due to this intelligence. And the Vision 2031 in UAE was compressing time dramatically. What was prior 10 years of development programs, now it is compressed to only 3 to 5 years of window execution. What we need and what the boards need in this situation, of course, the speed. They need an infrastructure for their decision. The modern CFO, it is the one that is expected to bring that life system that is going to look beside the corner and to anticipate the regulatory changes, the capital movements, the AI strategy deployment, and also the national goals. And the AI today, with this speed, with this velocity, it is not just an instrument. It is absolutely the strategic operational system for the modern CFO accountability.
So it means we can say expectations intensifying and the speed and regulatory and external environment are forcing to be very vigilant and active. Thank you. Sabar, because you are more happy to talk about the technology. So I would like to listen from you. During the implementation, what was the stage where you felt that the being a traditional mindset to the modern CFO strategy architecture with technology savvy?
Well, Mashood, I would say this is very interesting and challenging question on the same time. Well, there are many moments of such, but I would like to refer to what Mihai has discussed earlier, that we were in the boardroom meeting and the CEO was, presenting a 5-year technology implementation roadmap has been prepared with very detailed and all those things, but it is missing the assumptions validated by the finance actually through those 17 steps, what Miha has discussed. So what happened? Whatever we are talking, that looks very fancy, but is not practical. What we have done, we have start thinking backward from bottom to top, and we did the complete team formulation of our FP&A with the leverage of the AI. And this leverage has given us the ability to solve 2 or 3 core problems. What we are trying to achieve, the speed, resolving the complexity, and being adaptive to the AI. And as a result, what happened? We start fixing the assumptions with the right stress testing. So my take out of that moment was, if you are not shaping and challenging those assumptions with the right framework, you are not working on the strategy. You are working in someone else's strategy. So be vigilant while you're doing this.
So reverse engineering, speed, technology, and taking the leading role so that you can create the assumption instead of getting assumed by others.
Yes,
Omer,
and stress test.
yes. So Omer, being the group CFO and handling with the different business units, as we listened to earlier speakers, the execution is also a challenge. So how you feel that you are able to manage the implementation and conglomerate and this cooperation and to get the desired result by managing the different business units?
Intriguing question indeed. Well, see, like in the panel today and in the summit today, we are learning from each other today. So similarly, a lot of researchers in academia as well as in business consultancy, they have proposed certain strategic models. So I'll like to refer a couple of them here because I think they are helpful in managing, those complexities that we are talking about in business. So one of them is BCG. I'm sure a lot of you might have already heard about it. Now is not the time to get into the details of that, but just as a reference, however, we will talk about the essence of what that model presents. Another model or strategy framework is ANSOF metrics. So I'm just giving the references so that people, or especially those attending it, they can go and look into the details. The crux from there, and if I were to use the third habit from the 7 habits, which is put first things first, I think expectations are key. So setting the expectations correctly and aligning them is very important. So as a first step, the integration between the macro as well as the micro needs to be defined properly. So long-term strategic narrative against which capital allocation takes place, then develop enterprise-wide governance, risk, and culture. So we must be able to understand the profit and loss drivers from finance perspective and what are the various competitive pressures. Now, using the words that have already been discussed by some of the other panelists is that capabilities and resources. Now, human resources are essential, and each business unit must be empowered. And as strategists, our role is to create alignment through influence, not always with authority. Hence, challenging assumptions without micromanaging is part of the execution phase.
So we
Thank
can
you.
say the CFO should basically trust. CFO should be able to brief and align and win the confidence, and definitely then the capabilities and resources comes also for the implementation. Thank you, Umair. Saber, would you like to guide? Is it important for the strategy foresight, and could we do it automated and get the benefit of this technology and tools?
Thank you, Mashood. Very interesting, simple, and yet very important question, I would say. See, what is a foresight? So traditionally, it was an intuition we built on experiences, right? What we are trying to achieve to make it on a very fast track through the AI. So when we're talking about the automation, we really have to start understanding the difference between the automation and the augmentation. What AI is going to help us is going to help us to give that augmentation realities of the foresight in a kind of a financial metaverse, like in a different metaverses. And right now we are with this speed of AI, and just imagine when the quantum computing is going to be hyper and become public, this speed is going to be ultra, right? So what board is looking, it's speed, your data accuracy and reliability. What you have to go after, you go after your speed, pattern recognition, and the probabilities. You make sure those are right. You are able to automate and augment and view those foresight in real time and scenario test and come back like a Marvel pictures, reversing the time and take
So
a right decision today.
automation, augmentation, and like us old people, they need to learn also technology. Otherwise, we will not survive. Zasab, I'm not talking about you. You should not worry. You are a young man. So, so let's see what we discussed and what we learned. Arshad, would you like to run the second poll and share the results, guys? Come on, be active, participate, and enjoy the learning.
I think, Mashoos, you said one very good thing which you and Saber has done. So we are really enjoying the discussion with all 4 of you. I think constant reskilling and upskilling, I think this is what you both are emphasizing. This is very important. Change is the only constant thing. Constant reskilling yourself, upskilling yourself. This is how the way forward is. So let's see the poll.
Yes.
This poll is a very interesting activity, Mashood. I must admit you have made the people on the toes.
Yes, this is showing the result. You need yes. This is the second poll is there. My colleagues, which of these strategic responsibilities does your finance function currently own? Be honest, be quick, and let's understand where we need to focus. 40 people have answered. Very good. Countdown started. $60 have answered. Wow. We like your engagement, and your engagement is giving us the energy to be more energetic, to be more focused, and to be more constructive and productive in this discussion. I would request to, in order to save the time, Arshad, can you stop it and just share the results? So a majority of the answers from the colleagues are that long range scenario modeling is the mainly area where they see the strategic responsibilities. So let's see further to understand and make the clarity what is the role. So I would like to see also one of my panelists, Angela. Would you like to just comment on the results?
Yeah, it's very interesting because it seems to be a bit backward, and the AI is not exactly driving the agenda. And what I would like to say is that the length of our financial models is absolutely not about the time. It is about the power that they are providing, because a 10 years model is capturing and it forces us to a strategic courage. But just a 36 months financial model will give us only the extension of our budget. And the question is very simple about any type of the model that we're implementing. What is the power of this model? This model is going to move my board to take a different decision, or is just for comfort? So assess the length of your model and the power of it.
Thank you, Angela. What I feel, my colleagues, that because our role is not the backbencher, we must be a leader, and we must be a leader in a way to educate diplomatically and very smartly, not only to your C level, but maybe also to your board. So now I would like to listen. Umair, would you like to help us? Okay, immediately, what one function or one role the CFO should adopt in 2026 immediately?
Sir, I think we have discussed it extensively through the other two sessions, predominantly the first session as well, becoming the AI architect. So what we are focusing, the finance people, as we mentioned, and Zia sir mentioned as well, that we have to unlearn few things and maybe relearn, and new learning has to take place. So slight shift is expected in the coming time, and we need to adapt to the technology. So I would just mention this as a skill, because this in itself is a skill to learn new things.
Yes, as you rightly mentioned, that as we learned the computers early from the paper to the computers, and definitely we can learn and we need to continue learning. Let's see, Saber, because as you are claiming, and we know personally very well that you are good in IT related implementation and getting benefit. Would you like to share some success story who helped genuinely, and also some lesson learned from? Definitely there could be any failure, so failure is also part of the efforts. So would you like to quickly share some experience?
Thank you, Mashud. I would like only to correct you for one thing. It is not some mistake, but definitely there are mistakes, and the good mistakes from where we learn. And this is where we are right now today. So I would like to tell quickly about, there are many use cases, but one of the use cases, what we have done while we are building our property technology for our client who are dealing with the FM services and managing the facilities, very complex kind of systems, the building systems. But they are doing this one in the silos. So what we have worked really on that one, we embedded the technology layer, the AI layers with the finance, your datas and your operations. And when we are talking the operations, we really go deep dive. We embedded the IoTs, which is the Internet over Things, different kind of field devices, embedding those results and the impact of those results, which unfortunately being reported in 3 to 4 days, or sometime in 3 to 4 months, when some incident happened, or the strategic impact or loss already happened. So what we have done, we reverse engineer those and make them live as much as possible through creating these AI layers, which enable us to make them happen live with ultra speeds, and showing us the impact on our budgets and beyond budgets on the strategic impacts. So these kind of exercises and these kind of problem solving frameworks, I would suggest anybody can adopt it by right orchestrating and right framework adoption. However, on the failure side, I would like to tell a very quick story and a very short one because of the time. that we were trying to build some financial models, which is going to be support and contribute to our strategy formulation in the beginning, and a lot of assumptions are involved. So assumptions have to be followed on the historical data and the external data. While our historical data, because there is no ethics and the governance framework has been stitched into those models, it has been highly and badly compromised. Because when we found down and we step down and deep down and break down, we find there are a lot of 3 to 4 migration of the systems happened in last 10 years. And this really hit us bad. But there was a good mistake and a good learning for also, which also let us know and enable us to think forward and make sure that you stitch the governance in your framework, whatever you're going to do with the AI. I
Thank
hope
you
that
very much.
answers your question.
Highlighting very good point, Sabir, that governance is must. We should not compromise due to technology on it. So, Angela, would you like to give any what you feel the biggest challenge in implementation of this AI strategy and all these things? Is this data, talent, governance, or culture? In based on your experience, basically.
Yes, absolutely. I will answer to that. And my choice here, it will be data. I want to be very clear about it because, in the last 6 or 9 months of participation to different summits and conferences, the unique answer that the CFO are giving in relation to AI implementation is the data quality. And because it is so over repeatedly, the audience stopped hearing it. And I want to refer here about the specific situation of GCC. Having experience in KSA, Oman, and UAE, I have noticed that the structures are building one on top of the other. And it's not a problem that we don't have data. We have data. But the data, it is in silo DRP. It is in Arabic workflow documents. It is in Islamic finance accounting structures. It is in the new tax requirements and requirements from the government in UAE. On top of this, it is BPO invoicing and multi-currency structures. So all of them in the same time. And distinctive it is that all of these are managed by different functions, by different teams that have different definition for the same metric. I want to be very visual here for my colleague CFO. We are implementing AI to drive a Formula One car, but on unpaved road. And while the AI is fantastic, so the car is fantastic, the strategy is very clear. We want automation, efficiency, and to move forward much faster. If we don't have the data cleared, governed, and trusted, actually we want to implement AI on top of the financial chaos. And the CFO absolutely cannot create a strategy and a clear direction on top of the financial chaos.
So we can say garbage in, garbage out. We must make sure that there should not be a garbage. Omer, would you like to share, if any, experience where you feel the ego challenge or our management intuition versus the AI-based information? So who was the winner?
So this is very interesting question. Actually, there is no right answer to this because it is depending on the situation. But apparently, in the power dynamics, of course, the people who are the decision makers, of course, they would take the call. However, let's talk about something to do with logic and facts. Dr. Halla previously mentioned about certain biases. So we know that there are cognitive biases and there are emotional biases. So when as human beings we are deciding, not always logic will flow towards the decision making, emotions also kick in. So as per Daniel Kahneman, which is a Nobel laureate, he says, postpone intuition for as long as possible. Now, the research indicates that data-driven companies, they benefit 4% higher in productivity and 6% higher in profits. So just to conclude on this particular point, intuition, analytics, and LLMs, they can coexist and work concurrently. However, you need to understand what is the maturity level of the business and what is the established governance structures. And this helps minimize, human ego aspect of it. So business professionals need to learn to navigate between AI and intuition as a strategic advantage rather than a power struggle. Thank you.
Thank you, Omer. Even I think the culture can also help. The organization culture can also help, that this is not ego or the intelligence challenge. It's basically the logic and the information which prevail. Thank you very much. Saber, do you think the CFO who is not familiar like myself, old man, with the AI tools, and he will not be in the next board review meeting?
Well, I will not be the judge to this question, Mashood, but I'll really try to help what really can work for everybody, regardless of the age, especially what you're trying to refer. See, I believe one of our earlier strategies, Prashant, from earlier panel discussion, have summarized it very well. The CFOs who are trying and adopting the role of the CVOs, the value creator, they are going to be the picture in any way, because the value is always beyond an upper hand, even from the strategy, even from the AI. So if you have that mindset in place, you are not going to be replaced, because by default, the moment you start thinking on the value, you're going to adopt the right frameworks.
Very well said. Value creation, value architect, and definitely who's experienced, passionate. He has many things in his pocket or her pocket to add the value to the organization. Let's go quickly. Small, I would request, because I have been pushed by our guru Ziabai with 15-minute chopping. So just quickly, if we talk about the reimagining of the finance function, Angela, what three top finance processes which you think can help to be free and go towards the strategy implementation and easiness?
Yeah. So, this idea was coming me hearing our esteemed panelists. So, that book that is circulating on LinkedIn, the first days as first 90 days as a CFO. When you implement something, you have to look at the quick wins. So the same principle can be applied here. And the purpose it is to move the CFO from the engine room to the observation deck. You can do this with automation. And I will just name here three processes. First of all, AP automation that is giving headache, consuming 80% of the time with 20% of the results. Then the automation of the financial closure. From 8 to 3 days, doesn't matter what is the closure cut that you obtain. It's very good because you can focus on the strategy, actually, not on the closure itself and reconciliation. And I think the most value, the biggest value that you can bring in 90 days or 6 months, it is the automation of the compliance. Start running the automation and the compliance and focus on what the strategic advantages you can create for your company from the compliance before your competitors are even observing the rule. So this is a real ROI of the automation. Yeah. So this is
so,
what
Omer, thank you. By just continuing the answer which Angela has shared, can we apply 80-20 rule on this one?
Sir, from one industry to another, it will depend. However, we understood the principle that technology is going to impact everything. So the data which is necessary for decision making, whenever it becomes available quickly, it will lead towards competitive advantage. We know the concepts of time to market in strategy as well as first mover advantage. From one company to another, it will vary because certain industries or companies are tech driven. For them, data is the fuel. So for them, the answer would be different compared to a company which is in, for example, oil and gas or a manufacturing concern. So the answer would vary. The procedures or the processes, like I would agree with Angela, like the three things that she's mentioning, they will affect the liquidity management, for example, which is one of the key concerns, especially for the companies in the UAE. So looking into this aspect of it, I think this will give more time for the CFOs to interpret. And, one of the things that was mentioned by Dr. Hala was the narrative precision, and she talked about interpreting as well. So I think this is where the storytelling and, for future looking or foresight, all of this kicks in. So this will give them more time for them to prepare for future. And then, one of the model, rapid strategy model was presented. I think then it will give them time to focus on building some things like this. So I would say like this.
So it means, as we were using earlier days terminology, financial leverage. So it means technology leverage can also be used to speed up the strategy and implementations. Thank you very much. Arshad, I need you to share the poll because I don't want the people should disengage our audience. Would you like to share the poll? So we were having 3 polls in continuity, and then we will comment on that one. So where you are standing now. So now you have understand AI, requirement, technology, implementation, importance, results, contribution. So currently where your company is standing. What is the current state of AI adoption in your finance function? So you can stop it because we need to meet the target, Arshad. I can just comment quickly. Majority of the people are mentioning still it is evaluating or just on the pilot stage. Arshad, can you share the next poll? Our purpose is not just to, it is just a awareness. It's a just call to action. Basically all this conference will not help you to be expert in the strategy, AI and all these things. No, the purpose is just to give you a flavor that what is coming, what you need to do, and clock is ticking. So Arshad, can you share the next poll please?
Yes, sure.
So next is the human capital related. What is the biggest people challenge in AI driven finance transformation? If you people have started or you have listened or you feel by yourself that today after even listening this one, where you feel that what is the resistance? Why it's not could be adopted? As Slim Sufi highlighted earlier that yes, people were aware that AI is there, but people were relaxed. The realization was slow as compared to the technology improvement or availability. So what is the main thing? So apparently it is showing that change management and cultural resistance and upskilling part, this is going on parallel. So it means we need to educate the environment and we need to update ourselves. So thank you very much. Arshad, can you go to the next poll? Sorry, panelists, I'm covering that one to manage the time pressure. But at the same time, we want to give the awareness. That is our core purpose, to help our audience to understand the importance of this one. This is last one which we are doing. Which statement best describes how AI should integrate with CFO-led strategy? Now you are expert. You know the pros and cons and benefits and challenges. And AI is your now partner, co-host, co-partner, but not life partner. So see, this is the touchy point. Everybody smile. I can see Slim Bhai is smiling. Yes, actually, thank you very much. And this is very encouraging that CFO basically will lead, but AI will assist and help to have the knowledge and awareness and the information, and the decision will be by the CFO. That's it. Thank you, Arshad. I would like to just because to save the time, I would request my worthy panelist, can you just give us a key message starting from Sabir, Angela, and Omer?
Mashood, I just have one suggestion. Salim Saab has about to start one activity. If we can give him 2 minutes and then we get back to our panel, well, no problem. Just give us 2 minutes to Salim and we go back to our panel again. Sir Salim, floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Zia, for accommodating me. I have not planned to attend the whole session because I have other coaching session on Saturday. But believe me, I couldn't really get off from this presentation since it started. So I'm listening, I'm watching, and to me, this is really my dream come true. That is what I always thought and vision for Mecca, that we have these type of forums where the professionals would come on their own, no cost involved, and they will get the very fresh level of thought leadership from the experts. So my hats off to the Riyadh team. You have done a wonderful job, unbelievable. I cannot really believe that in such a short period of time, you have put together such a powerful program. And you know what? It becomes a benchmark for other country chapters, because we have agreed that every quarter we'll repeat that. So it's a challenge for those other countries who are in the line to really create that level of event. But this is really the ultimate you have guys created. Thank you very much. And thank you very much to the audience and speakers and ICMA team and other people who are involved. I'm very, very grateful to you. Now, I see that there are many questions from my presentation as well. And I think the best way is really that those of you, so I'm going to conduct a coaching class right now. After 2 hours at 9 p.m. Dubai, I will be conducting the second edition of the finance, future of finance is not about finance. So I continue to do these series every week for the next few weeks. So if you could join, I'm sharing with you the link to join that meeting. I just sent it to you. So you can join, and you can join me at 9 p.m. Dubai for 1 hour. I will try to explore and explain all the questions you have from my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Mashood, we are back to you.
Thank you very much, Jawai.
Thank you so much.
Saber, starting from with you, the key message.
Ashud, thank you for that. I would like to say first, change your mindset, be the architect, and a very immediate implementation plan, RPA, in your accounting. AI have been powered by FP&A, and be ready for the intelligence layer to be put on top of that and get ready for the augmentation.
Thank you. Angela, your take.
Yes, I will have a different approach a bit. You need to have an honest conversation with your board about what AI means for your role, and I'm not speaking about the function. We are very comfortable to speak about the AP automation, the forecasting, cash and treasury, everything to be automated. This is function. This is not strategic role. So the harder conversation it is to go and to discuss how you are an architect of the strategic intelligence in your organization. And for the next decade, the CFO that will shape the UAE and the GCC area are the one that walk into that room and have positioned themselves to be strategic architect of the AI intelligence and how the decisions are taken in the boardroom.
Thank you, Angela. Yes, Sumer bhai, quickly.
Well, initially we talked about the first rule for technology. So let me repeat that before I give the last or the second rule of technology. So we said that the first rule of technology, if it is applied to an efficient process, it will magnify, right? So the reverse is also true, which is that the second rule of technology or automation is that if it is applied to an inefficient operation or process, it will magnify the inefficiency as well. So take those two into consideration. And as a takeaway from, at least from my talk and a lot of other key takeaway from the other panelists as well. So this is from my side.
Thank you very much, extreme panelist. It was a wonderful session. Sorry, I cut a lot due to the time, but the crisp was there, and we understand the message. What was basically the purpose? Dear audience, thank you very much for your engagement. Basically, without you, it was not possible. And I would like to say thank you to Arshad for assistance and ICMAP team for their assistance, because all these slides, voice, every moment was not possible without your help. I would just say today's theme is the strategy first. The new mandate for the modern CFO is not a title. It's more than that. It's a call to action. The role of the CFO is evolving day by day. And leaders who will shape the next decade are those who put strategy at the center of every decision, every investment, every transformation. So you are not supposed to manage day-to-day jobs now, not to manage day-to-day operations. That is the job of the IT or very basic level professionals. You are supposed to think and architect how you can add the value to the organization. And for that one, as earlier it was mentioned, not only the knowledge is important, but how you can communicate your message, that is also very important. And AI cannot replace your storytelling. It is required emotions, and that is with you. I would like to say thank you for all this opportunity. Thank you, my UAE Mecca alumni and our president and team. And thank you to the UAE ICMAP Branch Council Chairman Rizwan and its members. And thank you to our Honorary Secretary and National Council member Rana Intezar for all this arrangement. And thank you definitely, Zia bhai, to you and your team and Pakistan chapter. So over to you, Mr. Sabir, for your comments. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mashood. I must say I was very excited. I am excited right now that wearing two hats, being a panelist and representing chapter also on the same time. It was exciting. Thank you for you and kudos to you and the team. And thank you for the ICMA and the MECA CFO once again. And I would like to say that whoever has joined us from across the globe, a bundle of thanks, and especially who has joined us from the UAE. Without you guys, we couldn't make it. And thank you, Angela, Umair, and all of our core team who is out there. And thank you, Zia Abai, once again. And I would like to now, I think because of the time, I will not add much. I would like to give the stage to Noman from the KSS chapter. And thank you for once again. Have a very good, lovely evening ahead. Thank you. Noman, are you there?
Yeah. Thank you, Sabir, for an informative and engaging session. So I just want to share my screen. Okay, thank you. So I would just like to take a moment to extend our sincere appreciation to our valued partner, ICMA, for their continued collaboration and unwavering support. At a time when the role of finance is evolving, from reporting to shaping strategy, partnerships like these are not just valuable, these are essential in building the next generation of finance leaders. We are truly grateful to the extreme leadership of ICMA, including Mr. Asif Hafiz, Siraj Ahmed Insari, Muhammad Hashim, Muhammad Asif Naz, Wasim Ahmad, Zia Mustafa, Faisal Habib Zadi, and Mumtazullah Niazi for their commitment to advancing the profession and contributing the initiative that drive meaningful impact. We would also like to special thanks to Ms. Hira and Mr. Shafi for their unwavering support, their dedication, coordination, and tiredness effort behind the scene that is instrumental in making this session a success. This collaboration reflects a shared vision of empowering finance profession to lead with strategy that create lasting impact. Thank you again for your kind contribution and support. Now, I would like to invite a seasoned professional with strong experience in leadership and strategic planning, actively contributing to ICMA Pakistan National Council, and is a member of engagement initiatives. He is a founder member of CMA Toastmaster Club. Let me welcome Mr. Intezar Hussain Rana for the vote of thanks. Yeah, Mr. Intezar, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Naman, for your kind introduction. I'm privileged to present the vote of thanks on behalf of ICMA Pakistan and Mecca CFO Academy on this first virtual CFO Summit 2026. First of all, sincere congratulations to KSA and UAE chapter for this effort. organizing such valuable, wonderful, and timely event. A very special thanks to my mentor, the founder of Mecca CFO Academy and strategy leader, Mr. Salim Sufi, for his insightful thoughts on evolving role of CFO, for chalking out a clear direction to the future of finance professional and emphasizing on value creation required from the CFO. It was really amazing session from his side. I would like to extend my gratitude to all the speakers, panelists, contributors for sharing their valuable time and insights on AI strategy, value creation, and changing role of these strategic CFOs. Thank you all the moderators, especially Zia Mustafa, Dr. Tamir, Khalid Noor Saab, Salim Yunus, Ghulam Sabir, especially Mashood Ali Dillu Saab, Noman Saab for this interactive session. My sincere appreciation goes to the ICMA, KS and UAE branches, Chairman Siraj Ansari, Muhammad Hashim, Chairman Muhammad Rizwan, Mashood Ali Dillu Saab, and Malik Arshad Saab for their active support. And thanks to all the organizers for their dedication in making this summit a success. Finally, I would like to thank the ICMA Pakistan officials, especially his affairs and IT and support team for their excellent logistics support behind the scene. And this was not possible without your support. I would also like to acknowledge all the participants. If you see this, the strong turnover throughout the summit clearly reflect the success and relevance of this summit. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Back to Naman sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Rana Intezar. Now I would just like to thank Mihai also, Dr. Tamir, and our other panelists. Thanks a lot. You're a wonderful audience. We will just continue this session, inshallah, after every quarter, and we will just rotate that chapter-wise only, and we'll just engage your engagement in futures also. So let me hand over the stage to Mr. Zia for the closing remarks.
Thank you, everyone. I think we all loved the summit. We all loved the engagement. UAE chapter, you brought in a lot of excitement, and that this is the reason I kept you at then, because I was thinking maybe by that time the energy level will go down. Mashood, you have handled that. Mashood and Saber, Angelila and Umair, you all have. Arshad Malik, you have handled it very well. Thank you very much. We have really enjoyed and looking forward to the next quarterly summit very soon. Rana Intezar, thank you very much. Hira, Shafiq Bhai, ICMA, Pakistan team, all the chapters, KSA, UAE, Pakistan chapter. Thank you very much and see you soon in the next summit, inshallah. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Congratulations to all of us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Arshad.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, all of you. Stay blessed.
Thank you.
See you soon. Inshallah.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Zabai. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Noman.
Thanks a lot. Thank you, Salim Bhai.
Thank you. Thank you, Dunu Bhai, everybody. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.